3 in the third inning, 7 hits in 9 runs, the inflated earned run average because of that.
Nate McLouth will lead it off, the newly acquired from Pittsburgh, as the Pirates have given up probably an all-star outfield. And McLouth's the latest to leave, and a great pickup for the Atlanta Braves. And he will take the pitch inside for a ball. He's making the start in center field. This is the 8th ball game that he has played with the Braves. The overall numbers: 10 homers, 36 RBIs. He is a quality major league player. Bergen's 2-0 pitch to him. He's taking, and it's in there for a strike, 2-1.
Yeah, we saw him last year when Pittsburgh came in to play the Orioles in interleague. Orioles winning all 3 of those games, but he ended up being an all-star. He can steal bases. He can hit home runs. The only thing he doesn't hit for high average.
There's only hit 27.
Yep.
So he's got a great future, as well as the now for him. He's hit safely in 5 of the 7 games since being acquired, as the deal went through on June 3. A 3-ball 1-strike delivery by Bergen, got it in, and that's going to be through. Salazar could not get to it on a hard hit ground ball, base hit.
Take a look at the defense for the Orioles. Scott and Jones and Mark Kekis, pretty typical outfielder in some senses, even though Luke Scott has been the DH a lot of the year. Mora with Historis at having the appendectomy, and Dino comes in and played very well at shortstop. Brian Roberts at second base, and then Salazar, we saw him, as Huff will be the DH tonight, and then Matt Wieters behind the plate tonight doing the catching for the Orioles.
Yunel Escobar, the shortstop. There's Bobby Cox, their manager, fouled away. A .500 ball club, 29-30. They've won 3, lost 3. It's kind of been that way throughout the season for this ball club. They've lost their last 2, and they did that in Pittsburgh. They are 5-5 in the last 10 games that they have played.
Yeah, 2 closely contested games, 3-2 a couple of nights ago. Yesterday, 3-1. Of course, the Pirates a much better pitching team this year, with Joe Kerrigan coming over as their pitching coach.
Play on that into the seats, and the count will remain at 2 strikes on Escobar. Matt Wieters back in after not playing in the ball game last night. The 23-year-old. It figures as the summer goes on to be in there just about every ball game, except when there's a severe need like that Sunday once in a while for a rest.
Well, a very young battery. You got Wieters at 23, Bergen at 25. Wieters went to Georgia Tech. Bergen out of Clemson.
That one in the air to left field. That is going back to the wall and a long way beyond it. And goodbye home run. Yunel Escobar delivers a 2 RBI homer, and the first 2 Braves have scored. It is a 2-0 lead.
I've had a chance to see the Braves play over the last week or so, and again, the one thing, when you look at Escobar, he reminds you of a lot of Julio Franco, but a much younger version. And watch this slider speed up his bat. Boy, it hangs right in the middle of the plate. And you can see the Exmo. We talk about sliders at 83, fastball in the 90s. It speeds up the bat head, and the Exmo shows you exactly how that bat head got to that hanging slider.
And brought to you by Northrop Grumman, the information systems powerhouse. And here is Chipper, and he takes the ball the other way. Chipper Jones getting a night off at third base. Kind of a surprise. The expectation was that Connor Zaris, who's playing at first, would be the DH in these games, and he still may be. But Chipper Jones, Bobby Cox thought he needed just a half a break at least, as he has been the offense for this Atlanta team of late.
I'm going to take a look at Chipper Jones, and there you go. 7th in home runs, 7th in RBIs, 3rd in walks, 11th in average. Came in this year at .310 lifetime average, 5th in on base percentage.
That one down to first base, played by Salazar. He'll take it to the bag. And there's the first out.
And there's your changeup.
Escobar getting his 6th home run of the season. RBIs 32 and 33 to give the Braves the lead. That is the 2nd home run surrendered by Jason Bergen. One hit by a right-hander, one by a left-hander. There is Escobar. And boy, these Braves, they are in the same position that the Orioles are coming into this ball game. Both of these teams in their respective leagues have the 3rd lowest batting average in the month of June. Neither team has been hitting. So Bobby Cox will take any and all of those kinds of runs, especially early in a ball game, to try and get his ball club fired up and back on an offensive pace. 1-0 count. Brian McCann. He's been hitting the baseball and does so here. Shattered bat, base hit into center field. McCann has been a hot hitter in the lineup. He gets one there. He's on with a single. You look at the teams coming in, 3 runs or less for the Braves and 5 of 8. The Orioles 10 of 11. 10 hits or less. The Braves 6 of 8. The Orioles 10 of 11. Their June batting averages 224 and 220. I mean, in their respective leagues, they have been at the bottom of the offense in June.
And it really shows itself in their one loss. The Braves have lost 5 of 8. The Orioles have lost 9 out of the last 11, 8 out of the last 9, however you want to look at it. And a lot of it has to do, not all of it, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that the Orioles started in, and so did the Braves. I mean, early on, right before Memorial Day, the Braves went, 12 and 5. They're getting over 5 runs a game. And then since then, they've gone 6 and 10 because they're scoring about 3.6 runs a game. And that's just not enough to win.
And both have had some pretty good pitching. The Braves pitching over the last 2 weeks has been a little better than the Orioles. But the Orioles have had some good starts. Now, the 2 in Oakland were a disaster. But there have been some decent starts that the Orioles have not been able to get the hits for. Here is Garrett Anderson. Anderson in the off-speed delivery is chasing right there. He comes in with a 3-game hit streak, hitting at 254. He's got 7 doubles, 3 homers for extra base hits.
Yeah, and it really appears, I mean, we've seen him for how many years with the Angels, just an outstanding guy. I mean, he can hit the ball over, doesn't walk a lot.
That one towards second base. Brian Roberts, great stop, second one, no relay. And Dino had nowhere to go with it, but they get the out, and a fine play by Brian Roberts to get McCann at second.
Yeah, I think what the Orioles would like to do, and they want to do it in a hurry, is get Birkin back into the dugout to regroup. And this is the kind of play that's going to allow him to do that. It's only the second out, but otherwise, I don't think McCann would have gotten the third, but you would have had a first and second already down by 2-0. So it really doesn't get a lot better than that play by Brian Roberts.
That's a big play. They get an out, 2 down.
Well, you got a young pitcher on the mound, and again, when we talk about big innings, 2 runs, at least probably 3 weeks to a month ago, didn't mean much for the Orioles because they were scoring a lot of runs. Lately, I mean, that's not insurmountable by any means. But again, that's where you want to keep it, and that play by Brian Roberts hopefully will do that.
Here's Carnizares, no glove, all bat. There's your scouting report. And a ground ball down to third base. Melvin Mora up. He'll make the throw over to first. And Carnizares, who's making the start at first base, retired. Big blow, Escobar, 2 RBI homer. The Braves take the early 2-0 lead. Play, and the Atlanta Braves in town for the weekend tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon. Here's the starting lineup for the O's, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Roberts, Jones, and Markakis, Huff, Mora, and Scott, Salazar, Wieters, and Andino. 368 interleague average for the Orioles center fielder.
Take a look at our PNC scouting report. Well, number 1 stuff. He is their number 1 prospect, and of course they hope he's not a suspect, but he's going to be a prospect. Upper 90 fastball, slider, 12-6 curveball, and a changeup. Very confident guy, not arrogant but confident. And then in the Arizona Fall League, he won the Triple Crown. He had the best 1-loss record, 5-0, most strikeouts, lowest ERA, 0.63.
He opened up against Milwaukee and pitched 2 different ball games over 6 innings. Brian Roberts will take him to the corner. They're playing him the other way. That'll take a hop off the wall. Thinking about 2. He'll make the turn. Jeff Francoeur gets it in. There's the difference in right field between home and road. Francoeur was waiting for a bounce, not realizing, as Markakis does, that the ball doesn't bounce off that scoreboard. It comes right straight down.
Yeah, especially when it short hops the wall. So again, what do you throw in the mid-90s? What are you looking for? A heater. You're going to hit off the fastball, and Brian Roberts, he doesn't miss too many thigh-high inside parts of the plate. And there's that short hop. He's thinking about 3, but Francoeur, who's a terrific throwing right fielder, he gets to it quickly. You're already in scoring position. You certainly don't want to make that first out at third base.
So Brian's bat is hot. 6 for his last 13. He's got the double. Adam Jones will get the RBI chance. Jones is struggling at the plate right now, still hitting a very fine .329, coming out of an 0-for-11 in the last series. Roberts is running. No chance. As you saw, the delivery by Tommy Hansen takes a long time to get rid of the ball.
Well, when you can steal them, you can see now 12, only been caught 4 times. When you can steal it, and for great angle right there, and as you see, not that running lead that Brian Roberts usually gets. He just really did ignore it. I mean, it's a perfect situation. Big right-handed hitter, so Brian McCann has to step behind the hitter. Good throw, but late because Brian Roberts stole it on the pitcher.
Now an RBI opportunity, and we're only in the first inning. The Braves have 2 on the board, so they'll just stay back, give the run up, and get an out. Breaking ball is going to miss outside. Adam Jones 0 for his last 13 overall at the plate, but continues to be one of the better RBI guys. With runners on this season, he is 3rd to only Jason Bartlett and Ian Kinsler. With that .379 average, that's with a runner on at any base. He hits .379.
Now over 400 with runners in scoring position in general. And the amazing thing,
1 and 2.
Yeah, the amazing thing, Gary, is that the 2 Jones boys, when we talk about Chipper Jones and Adam Jones, they're both hitting over 400 with runners in scoring position. So right here, about the only place you will not score a run if you strike out, pop up, or hit a ground ball to third base. Infield back, first, second, and third. Good speed at third. Ideal situation to have the 2-0 lead that Atlanta has, or maybe even tie it up.
Got to get the run in. This is where the Orioles have failed of late to a substantial degree. They are not getting hits with runners in scoring position and have been leaving people on base. During the last 11 games, the Orioles are last in the American League in on-base percentage, runs, extra base hits, and batting average with runner in scoring position.
And then you throw in that starting ERA at almost 6 runs a game. That's why you don't win games.
That ball grounded to second base. It will get the run home. Johnson makes the play. RBI for Jones, and it is a 2-1 Atlanta lead.
So a nice at bat. When you got a 22-year-old right-hander, he's doing what he's got himself a 2-0 lead. Well, the Orioles just have it. But he makes a good pitch, and Adam Jones takes advantage of the situation. So again, the steal of third base, huge for the Orioles with Brian Roberts.
Jones, the RBI number 38 on the year, as he trails Nick Markakis in RBIs. Nick has 40. Aubrey Huff has 39, second on the team. And with one away, here is Markakis. Ground ball up the middle, off the glove of Hansen. There will be a play, not in time. Canizares tried to get off the bag quickly, but he knew Markakis was going to beat that out. That'll be an infield hit. Prado, a nice try at third base.
Yeah, he gets to it very quickly. Watch Tommy Hansen just drop the glove, so it's right off the heel of the glove. Prado's going to come in, and then you can see John Shelby, the first base coach for the Orioles. This ball tails because of the quickness of the throw, a little bit sidearm, and you can see John anticipating maybe getting hit by that ball. Wanted to get out of the way.
Aubrey Huff. So the Orioles are hitting Hansen here in the first inning. We said in Hansen's first outing, he sort of had 2 games against Milwaukee. His totals were 6 innings. He gave up 7 runs, 6 earned on 6 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. He went through the first 3 and just mowed them down. The second 3, however, were a problem as Hansen got hit and had to come out of the ball game. And as Jim said, he's only 22 years old, and this is only his second major league start.
Yeah, big kid. He's 6'6". So again, I mean, great extension. And then gets over that front side. So again, the scouting report on a lot of working parts. Anytime you get to be 6'4" to 6'8", 6'6", that usually is the case. You can see how deliberate he is. So Nick Markakis does not steal a lot. He's 1 out of 2. We talked about in spring training he was going to try to maybe ramp up the running game. That hasn't happened yet into this season.
Hasn't had to because the top of the order has been so good that they didn't want to make outs on the base paths. That may change here. Aubrey Huff ahead on the count 2-0.
Well, that's
Breaking
a real good
ball
point.
And that misses.
That's a great point. But how many times do we see when Oriole pitchers are deliberate that average runners take advantage of stealing bases? So I think, again, when you look back over the last 11 to 20 games, you've seen real good pitching. You're not scoring as many runs. The little things, you have to take advantage of them when they're presented to you.
3-0 delivery. Huff way inside, and Hansen's really struggling right now with positioning of those pitches. Location not with him early on in the ball game. First and second, 1 out.
We'll take another look right here, and again, at 6'6", I mean, this is only your second major league start, and he almost gets Aubrey in one of the kneecaps. He gets the right one out of the way, that front leg, and then it almost catches his back knee, and that would have hurt. Roger McDowell, he said the one thing about him, he's coming off a great Gwinnett is their AAA team. So as Rick Dempsey told us in the pregame, he had something like 17 walks and 90 strikeouts, threw a lot of strikes. 7 out of his last 8 starts were quality starts. But again, how do you take that to the big leagues? What's your composure? Are you nervous? Roger McDowell said that wasn't really the case. That game that you talked about, the 3 home runs, retired the first 10 guys Sunday afternoon in Atlanta, ball flying against the Brewers, who are third in the National League in home runs, and they hit some fly balls. 2 of them were maybe what, if you want to characterize them, that is cheap home runs. Orioles would take a cheap home run right here.
No home run is cheap if you're the guy that hits it, right?
Nope.
Here is Melvin Mora. Boy, would he like to. Mora is in that group of nothing happening. He hasn't had a home run in the last 29 games. Even more important for the Orioles, he hasn't had an RBI in the last 23. And the Orioles have got to have production. Mora, Markakis, Huff all are struggling in both the home run and RBI departments. So they hope to get out of that. And when they do, somebody's going to pay, because this club is not nearly this bad offensively as what's happened to them in the last dozen games. That one in the air to right field. Francoeur tagging at second base. Nick Markakis. He'll go and reach easily, and staying at first base is Huff. So Mora retired on the fly ball out. Luke Scott. He has been the man when it comes to the long ball. 7 of the last 9 home runs that the Orioles have belong to Luke Scott. His bat has not gone quiet, and he's in there again tonight playing in left field.
Yeah, 9 of the last 14. I mean, you can throw out all kinds of numbers, and on the rest of the home runs, and we can tell you about the home run drought, that they come from Nolan Reimold, at least initially. He's getting the night off. To me, as a former pitcher and watching these games, and I've seen most of them even though I wasn't broadcasting them, his ability to hit the ball the other way. You can see again, Seattle, they have the best starters in the American League through this juncture of the season. That home run he hit off Olsen, what was impressive, it was the other way, and it was off a lefty.
First and third with 2 down. Braves lead it 2-1. Breaking ball. You see the movement that Hansen has on it, if he can shackle it and get it to go where he wants it to go. There you see the home run totals as DHs. Luke Scott, Jim Thome, and Blaylock are the top 3. And Luke has done a tremendous job in that DH role. He's been among the top 5 in RBIs, top 5 in average, and right up there in home runs. 1-0 count. Runners off first and third. Scott will take it away, and Hansen working behind the hitters here in the first inning. 2-0.
Yeah, we'll see how predictable he is. You get a lot of guys that aren't power pitchers, and he certainly is that, even though he has 3 other pitches to go with that mid-90 fastball. But in the minor leagues, a lot of times you can get away 2-0, 2-1, 3-1 hitters counts with fastballs in the middle of the plate.
2-0 delivery, and he's way inside, and it's 3-0.
So again, it's a great idea to throw a 2-0 breaking ball. But right here, I would not be surprised if Dave Tremblay would let Luke Scott hit, because he's that hot. Just say, hey, you got the green light if you get a good pitch to hit. And I can't imagine they're going to throw him another breaking ball here.
Runners off first and third. See if he's got the green light. 3-0 delivery. Fastball. That is there for a strike, and it looked like he did, but he didn't. Pitch was a little up from where he wanted it. 3-1.
Yeah, outside third of the plate, not in the happy zone.
Dave Tremblay putting the lineup together tonight in hopes that adding Salazar, getting him in there, getting Wieters back in, getting Scott in left field, a chance to play both in the field and get his at bats to get the offense rolling. 3-1, 2 down. Luke Scott, ouch. That one foul back hard. 3-2. Luke is hitting .324 with runners in scoring position. He's done a great job of that. The Orioles' overall numbers on the year are still excellent, still up near that 300 mark. But as we said, over the last 11 games, it has dipped way down. They come out of that series against Seattle with just 2 hits in 18 at bats with runners in scoring position. Markakis on at third. Aubrey Huff on at first. Hansen, the 3-2. Huff will be running at first base. Breaking ball, walked him, and they're loaded.
So again, trying not to be predictable. 2-0 breaking ball, and Bobby Cox is going, this kid throws 95. We're going to hook him. Boy, I'll tell you, that is such a great feeling when you're able to do that. But I don't know too many 22-year-old pitchers that can do that, especially when, again, when you throw in the mid-90s. I can't imagine you did that a whole lot in AAA or even A-ball.
Not when you had that heat.
No, that's the point. You usually try to get beat on your best pitch, but I guess by the book, it's a wonderful way to try to pitch.
Well, there's a big chance for the Orioles. First inning, 2 down, and Salazar has the bases loaded. And that is going to be in there for a strike. High strike call on the slider.
Yeah, that slider does not have a lot of tilt. We've already seen the Escobar home run off of Birkin on a hanging slider. When you throw 94 and you hang some sliders, you are going to speed up some bats if they hang around the middle of the plate. We'll see if the Orioles take advantage of that over the course of tonight's game.
Salazar leaves it away. Salazar is appearing in just his second game since being called up. He was in the ball game on Sunday at an 0 for 4 playing at first base. Came up from Norfolk when Cesar Izturis went on the DL. He was having a big year at Norfolk AAA. 372, 10 homers, 43 RBIs. 1-1 delivery. Swings at a pitch down and away. 1-2. Tommy Hansen trying to work his way through the inning. Already a long one. The Orioles have the run in on the RBI by Jones. But here again, a chance for a kind of blow the doors open hit with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Salazar waiting. And he's gone. So they get 1 run. The Orioles get 1 back, a run on a couple of hits, but again, they leave the bases loaded here in the first, and Atlanta has a 2-1 lead. $99 worth of American scratch-off tickets from the Maryland Lottery for every Oriole home run hit tonight. You can have a chance to win too. Enter by logging on MASNsports.com. Good luck, Ellen. We go to the second inning. Jason Birkin will work to the bottom part of the order. Jeff Francoeur will lead it off. Kelly Johnson, the second baseman. And then Martin Prado is getting a start at third. Birkin's first pitch, and that will be a strike taken. Jeff Francoeur. All the Atlanta papers writing today about Atlanta. Should you trade him? Francoeur has been one of those just drool over prospects who 2 years ago looked like he was no longer a prospect but was here to stay in big time, and then fell apart. That one looped in the air to center. Jones coming. He'll get there. Francoeur is retired. One away, second inning. Tomorrow, the first 10,000 fans 15 and over will receive an Orioles crab mallet presented by Old Bay. This set combines two of the Birdland's favorite summertime activities, steamed crabs and Orioles baseball. And the tickets start as low as $9. Ticket information 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com.
Yeah, we'll discuss that a little bit longer, but I tell you what, a couple of years ago, it looked like he could do everything. Hit for power, great right fielder. At that time, high average guy.
Birkin got him on the fly ball out, and now Kelly Johnson. Johnson at second base, hitting .239, 14 doubles, 5 home runs in the extra base hit department, and 19 RBIs.
And look at those numbers against right-handers, wearing out lefties, but righties only .207.
He'll take it to a 1-ball, 1-strike count. He has solidified his worth with a very strong performance at second base. 2-1 delivery is swung on and miss, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Johnson.
There's that good changeup. Again, Jason Birkin, he's been around the block enough, even though he's only 25, and even though this is only his 4th major league start, to realize how important that changeup is. Let's take a look at the way he grips his pitches. There's the round 2-seamer, which is a little unconventional. Normally you'd have your fingers with the seams. There's your 4-seamer, and these are the 2 fastball grips. Changeup. We just saw him strike out Kelly Johnson with that grip, and curveball right there. Catch a seam, and slider, that's the home run. We're going to forget that one. Even though he's actually thrown a couple of good ones since he hung the one to Yunel Escobar for the two-run home run back in the first.
Here is Martin Prado. A very solid season, hitting .273, playing both first and third, and coming off the bench. He'll take that to right field. Nick Markakis has got time and room. And that'll do it. Solid inning. Birkin comes on, gets a couple of fly ball outs and a strikeout, and retires the side in order. Camden Yards, Atlanta's in town.
Minimal damage. It's still unclear whether or not he'll make the transition promotion to the big leagues, but the Braves are very high on this young prospect. He was the MVP of the Arizona Fall League last fall, and his ETA to the big leagues was accelerated because of that, and also the fact that he had a great spring training with the Braves. Now, an Atlanta scout told me, he said, the reason we think this guy is going to be so successful is, bottom line, he has good stuff. And when I talked to Oscar Salazar, the only Oriole to have faced Hansen coming into this game, he said the same thing. He said he's got big league stuff and he's got a big curveball. But as we saw in his first start, Tommy Hansen's first start, he's apt to give up the long ball. He gave up 3 home runs in his first major league start. We'll see if the Orioles can get after him here, Gary.
And that control problem, Amber, that he has struggled with in the past game and so far in this one. Wieters with a 1-ball 1-strike count. Bat hitting at 229, and he'll take the pitch outside for a ball, and the count will go to 2-1. Wieters, Andino, and Roberts for the Orioles, trailing at 2-1 here in the bottom of the second inning. Two-1 delivery on the way, and an off-speed breaking ball's in there. 2-1. Matt Wieters at the plate, earning his way. Multi-hit game in his last outing 2 days ago, and behind the plate, he certainly has looked like anything but a first-year catcher.
Yeah, I know Buck Martinez, of course, was an outstanding defensive catcher.
That one ripped into right field. Francoeur will give chase. It'll be off the wall. Francoeur plays it well, and that big arm will hold him to a single.
Yeah, very, very loud single. But what the impressive thing, and if you're going to be 6'4", 6'5", how you move behind the plate. Pitched in a lot of all-star games, whether it was Fisk or maybe Bill Freehand. It's not really somebody I'd like. I mean, obviously, you'd like to pitch to those guys because they could hit and get you a lot of runs. But right here, again, Terry Crowley, very simple, the Oriole hitting instructor. Bat head to the ball, path of the bat head to make contact. And you saw the perfect swing right there. And again, this guy's got great stuff, and he's going to throw all of his pitches from what we've seen now in the second inning in any count. Doesn't matter. He can be ahead or behind. He's going to use them all. I don't know how smart that is, but that's what he's going to do.
Here is Robert Andino. He shows bunt with Prado at third base. Pitch will be taken away for a ball. Orioles have their third hit off Hansen. Roberts waiting on deck. Juan Samuel going through the signs. Andino in at short. Cesar Izturis home in the Miami area. Will be rejoining the team when it goes to Florida, and will be another 10 days, probably a couple of weeks away from playing. That one is hit the wrong way. It'll be played by Johnson to Escobar for the out. No chance. Wasn't hit hard enough to go the other way. Wieters, though, is retired at second base. The Cal Ripken All-Stars hosting the Valley Baseball League All-Stars, the Mid-Atlantic Classic, July 15, Regency Furniture Stadium in Waldorf. The ball game is going to start at 7:05. There's a home run derby at 5:30. You can't get there. The game will be live on Masson HD. It is free to go to the ball game, and donations will be appreciated. Go to RipkenSeniorCollegeBaseball.org for information. One down. Here's Brian Roberts. Roberts led it off with a double. 4-game hit streak. Stole third and scored on the ground ball out by Jones.
He had a nice series against the Mariners, 5 for 12 with 3 doubles, and then he added one in the first. It was a down and in fastball, first pitch of the game. And of course, what did Brian McCann do behind the plate? Put the glove right on the outside corner.
1-0 delivered to Brian, ground ball.
And then he tries to take hostages in the Oriole dugout on that breaking ball. He's ducking all over the place. Put up that screen. That one kind of snuck over it.
One of the things Brian Roberts has done this year that's a bit surprising, and especially during the time when he's not been hitting here, look at in his career what his ground ball fly ball ratio is and what it is this year. He has almost doubled the number of balls he's putting in the air compared to those he puts on the ground. Runner goes, straight steal, throw McCann, it's there, and he got it. McCann has thrown out 11 of 29 as Andino is caught stealing.
Yeah, bad jump. And then the catcher, Brian McCann's a big guy. I don't know, maybe 6'3", 235 pounds. Watch how quick he is. Look at the accuracy on that throw. What a great angle. Camera angle showing you exactly. And Andino takes one look and gets the glove in there. I tell you what, he actually beat the hand in there, but the ball beat him and he gets called out.
Technically,
yep,
safe. 2-1 delivery off speed to Roberts. That is in there, and they're going to throw the ball around on the second strike.
Yeah.
And McCann puts his arms up, looks at Brian Roberts, and says, Sorry about that.
Take a look right here. See, the hand beats him. And again, not a very, very deliberate tag.
So Brian McCann joins Milton Bradley on the game of embarrassment on this Friday. Milton Bradley playing at Wrigley Field in Chicago for the Cubs. 1 out, runners at first and third. He caught a ball in right field and threw it into the bleachers. 1 run scored, the other one went to third. If you don't think there was a steaming Lou Piniella waiting for him when he got back, think again. Now McCann tries to throw it around on a 2-2. Now you get to do it. What a great off-speed pitch that was. Second strikeout by Hansen. No runs a hit and nobody left on base. 2-1 Braves. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. By Corona and Corona Light, official sponsors of the timeout. Relax responsibly. And by PNC. PNC leading the way. With Jim Palmer and Amber Theo Harris, I'm Gary Thorne. Great to have you on board. Third inning. Fine crowd on hand on this Friday night here at Camden Yards. Top of the order against Jason Birkin. Nate McLouth showing bunt, fouls it back. Singled and scored on Escobar's homer in the first inning.
Yeah, if he gets on, he can steal him. 66 out of 71 lifetime, 9-0 this year. I tell you, anytime you can go out and get an all-star that can hit for power, can steal bases, can play center field, can hit home runs. But the only thing, as we mentioned, he made .276 hitter last year with 24 home runs, drove in 93 runs.
And for giving up, really, not much.
Well, they say, again, I mean, they're prospects.
0-2 delivery up high.
Well, I mean, and that's
I know.
Yeah,
I understand.
But I guess it's kind of like what is Phil, coach of the Lakers? What does Phil Jackson begin him to do in the moment? And that's what the Braves are about, in the moment.
Got him on a fastball.
And that's what Jason Birkin's trying to do. Yeah, that hanging slider for the 2-run home run to the guy that's going to come to the plate, thing of the past. I made a mistake. I hung it in the middle of the plate. McLouth had let it off with a single, and then right here I throw a high fastball by him. The hit into right field was a low fastball, so he just elevated, and he gets to strikeout.
Here's the home run hitter. Escobar getting his 6th homer of the season in that first inning. He will take the fastball up high. Batting in the number 2 spot, he leads the team in multi-hit games, 17 of them. He's 3rd in the National League with runners in scoring position, hitting .407. And down to 3rd it goes. That's a fair ball. Up with it, Melvin Mora. Oh, tip the cap on that one. What a play by Mora and a stretch by Salazar.
Yeah, and Escobar's looking across the field. How did you ever do that? Well, take a look. Off the line, which is where you want to play. Again, the ball not hit that sharply, but hit hard enough, and slow infield here at Camden Yards. So Melvin with great reflexes and a terrific throw. Watch him get up and fire across the diamond. Didn't have to think about this. And then Salazar with a nice stretch. Well, it's really nice to be on that mound, and all of a sudden your third baseman turned a double into an out.
Big defensive play by Melvin Mora.
Especially with this guy coming to the plate.
Jones grounded out his first time up. He is 10th in average in the National League coming into today's play. Chipper, though, has been having his problems at the plate of late. He will foul that one away. He has not had a hit in his last 10 at-bats. But for Chipper Jones, career numbers, they are Hall of Fame-like. 416 home runs, 311 average, 2,300 hits, 1,400 RBIs. And swings through that one, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Yeah, that's a switch hitter. What's that, second to Mantle and Eddie Murray? Or actually Eddie Murray and Mickey Mantle. Yeah, natural right-handed hitter.
One of the game's great hitters.
Yeah, his dad Larry taught him to switch hit at an early age.
Got him to chase one on the outside part of the plate. Jones in center, and he's got it. That will retire the side. Birkin with a little help from his friends. Coming up, it'll be Jones, Nick Markakis, Aubrey Huff. Of your choice, including a prime game, and the first 500 who take advantage and purchase 2 seats will receive an autographed photo of Nolan Reimold celebrating his walk-off home run. 4 seats, you'll get the autographed picture of Matt Wieters getting his first major league hit. 888-848-BIRD, Orioles.com for details. See, I don't know if Nolan's going to be real happy about somehow why is you only got to buy 2 when you get him, but you got to buy 4 to get Matt. Huh? Come on now. Must have been all that publicity.
Signing bonus.
That's what it was, signing bonus. Adam Jones coming up, 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Braves. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for the O's. Bottom of the 3rd. RBI, Jones picked it up on the ground ball out. Tommy Hansen. That one's ripped. Garrett Anderson up, base hit Jones.
Well, Mr. Hansen found in his second major league start that the belt high fastball to a guy that's as good as just about any hitter in the American League is going to get hammered. Watch this swing. Watch this bat head. Exmo right there. Bat head to the ball. I mean, that, what, 94, 95 in the middle of the plate? Doesn't mean you don't throw your fastball. You just want to keep it out of the happy zone.
That was tagged.
Yes, it was. You know, and that's, you know, we always talk about sometimes you go out and pitch and guy hits a crisp line drive to left, and then the next game he elevates it and it's a run. It's a solo home run like that, or maybe there's a couple of guys on. That is, I guess, the difference factor. But if you hang out in the middle of the plate, we've seen it with Birkin, hanging slider to Escobar. That was a 2-run home run. But that was a home run swing, and that's what Adam Jones has been able to do just about all year long. Really have some authoritative swing.
Nick Markakis, a single his first time up. He has a 4-game hit streak going. Runner at first, Jones, nobody out. Hansen, the off-speed breaking ball, that's going to miss for Nick. He has not had a home run in 19 games. He hasn't had an RBI in the last 11. So when you have those kind of numbers settling in for the players in the top part of the order who are counted on, that's the reason the Orioles run production just has not been there. 2-0 count. Popped him up. Shallow center. The clout is over, and he's got it. And Markakis is retired.
Audrey Hupp's going to come to the plate, and that is what happened in the first weekend, and that's about 3 weeks ago, where the American League wins 22 of the 42 games. But the DH average is actually higher for the National League players, but the home run production down. Of course, my answer to that is you have a lot of role players. The bench players get a lot more at-bats, pinch hits, attempts in the National League. But the teams aren't built with those guys that can hit home runs. Obviously, there weren't a lot of home runs in those 42 games, and not all of them played in American League ballpark. But there's a trend there, you would think.
Yes. Aubrey Huff is the designated hitter. Talking to Aubrey before the game about the offensive struggles for the Orioles, he said, I can't remember a time where I've been on a ball club where everybody in the lineup went flat at the same time. He said, we just have got guys who you know are better than this not hitting. And then he looked over at Luke Scott and said, except for him.
And Nolan Reinhold.
Yeah.
I honestly, from watching the games and from also pitching for 20 years, now good pitching doesn't always stop good hitting, but it does slow it down. And you go back and look at the last 3 weeks, the Orioles have faced some of the best pitching teams in the American League. You know, the best starters in the league where? Seattle. They didn't even get Bedard in this 3-game series. What, they scored 7 runs in the last 3 games? So, again, I think that has a lot to do with it.
Runner going foul. I'll go with that for a ways. You know something? This is Major League Baseball. If you're going to win, you got to beat the best the other team has.
Well, no, you're right, and that's why they're not winning.
All right, fair enough.
So there we go. I mean, here we go, 1.89. So with that said, if you're a realist, and if you're winning, I think to me, winning players are realists, you go, you know what, well, we really wore out this team, and that, because they can't pitch. But nobody looks in the mirror and goes, I'm having a great year because they're not making good pitches. What happens is, you know, your ego gets inflated. Then all of a sudden you start playing these other teams and it's not as easy. You have to do the little things. You have to. We always talk about situational hitting. Dave Tremblay talked about it the last 2 years. But to go out and actually do it, win the one-run games, make the big defensive plays, focus on Sunday when you can't win the day games or whatever, win the third game when you won the first 2 series. That just doesn't happen by accident.
Exactly. Yep.
So again, it's the little things. You know, I watched the game last night, 3-3 ball game, Mets and Phillies. Going to get any bigger in the National League East? 2 outs, go-ahead run at third. David Wright's playing in left center field. He's the third baseman. Jimmy Robbins up. Does he bunt? No. He pops up. Now they win anyway because, you know, they hit a home run, 3-run home run of Banyas in the extra innings. But the little things allow teams to win.
Well, that's because if you are a good team and you are playing good teams, the games are going to be close. Of course. Because there's going to be good pitching and good hitting on both sides that'll show up at different points in the ball game. Who takes advantage of that decides who the better team is. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
So it's a combination of all of those things.
Yeah. No question, as Aubrey's point before the game was, that we certainly are not a ball club that scores 1.5 runs a game. That's just not who the Orioles are. They're better than that against anybody. It's just that they have gone cold in this lineup all at once, and for 11 games have stayed that way. 2-2, runner at first base and 1 down. And Huff reaching on the off-speed pitch will foul it off. Count stays, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, you and Buck Martinez was talking the other night. I mean, I read the comments that Aubrey Huff said. I had five balls on that road trip out to Seattle and Oakland that probably would have been a home run in Camden Yards. And what did Buck say? We weren't playing in Camden Yards. And year in and year out, Seattle's a great place to pitch. Why? Because it's more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark. Oakland, all the foul territory, even though they have a very young staff. So maybe you better bunt a little bit, hit the ball behind the runner, do the little things.
2-2 delivery, runner going again. And Aubrey Huff battling here against Tommy Hansen, fouling off pitches and holding the count at 2-2. DHing. I really think what you're seeing Dave Tremblay is trying to do here, he gave Aubrey the day off. Aubrey said today, the manager came to me and said, I'm giving you the day off so that mentally you can just rest. Just don't think about hitting. So that he could come back on another day and just kind of start anew. And he's also not having to play at first base in the ball game tonight, so now he can concentrate on what he's doing at the plate. Then he'll be back at first. 2-2. Runner goes way up high, throw down, and dropped. Would have had the out.
Yeah, I think the only reason
umpire Laz Diaz was ready to call the out.
I mean, a great pitch to run in because Brian McCann had to go to the second story to catch it. Way up and out. And then here's your perspective. Now the throw is going to, watch this throw tail. And it's right into Adam Jones. And I think as we look at Escobar, ball coming out of his glove, tags him on the shoulder. That's why Diaz would have called him out. Oh boy, great camera work right here. See, you're out. Even though he got a good jump. But again, McCann, very quick tailing throw, but very quick release. Pretty good combination for a catcher.
So now an RBI opportunity for Huff, 3-2. And Aubrey reaches and takes it into left field. Good jump by Jones. He'll come around to score. Garrett Anderson's throw cut off, and this game is tied. And Aubrey Huff picks up the RBI, just his second in 24 games, 2-2.
So what does Dave Tremblay do? Adam Jones doesn't run a lot, said he was going to run more in spring training. He steals a base, and then the little flare to left. What slump? What RBI drought? It ended. See, so that again, those warning track fly balls, you didn't need it tonight. Just flared one into left.
That'll get you the
tied it up. Yep. Use the whole field.
So Aubrey Huff delivers, and the ball game is tied. His 40th run batted in. Aubrey is now tied with Nick Markakis for the team lead. He's on at first base, still only one away. The Oriole veteran of interleague play, Melvin Mora, his 158th interleague contest, more than any other Oriole. He's a .272 hitter in interleague games, 21 homers and 67 RBIs in games played against the National League. One down. Tommy Hansen. Mora will take it down low for a ball. The Orioles now with 5 hits in the game. Melvin flied out his first time up. 2 hits in his last 13 at bats on the homestand. Aubrey Huff being held at first by Canizares. And the sweeping slider is in there for a strike, 1-1. So it has been a tough go for Holmes, the starter. The Orioles have hit the ball, left the bases loaded in the first inning.
Well, because right now, and again, you can read Baseball America, #1 prospect. He does have 4 pretty good pitches, but he's not commanding them. You know, we saw the fastball in the middle of the plate to Jones, smoked it into left.
That one smoked into left, but an atom ball. It'll be caught. Garrett Anderson. Huff halfway goes back to the bag.
Yeah, Federer didn't have that much top spin when he won the French Open. And that's a tough play, even though it's right at you because the ball's sinking.
Some of the crowd on hand enjoying this summer night here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, and a good ball game, 2-2. Luke Scott gets the Lou chant. He drew a walk his first time up, 1 of 2 surrendered by Hansen so far in the ball game. Luke at 307 on the year, 14 homers and 35 RBIs. Hansen's pitch to him will be taken away for a ball. Orioles also trying to be more patient, to get better pitches to hit and not be helping the pitcher out.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of getting back to where I'm going until I get to 2 strikes, hit what I'm looking for. Because again, and I talk about this all the time, you know, we do our stats. You look at the league average last year with 2 strikes, it was 185. So what does that tell me? It tells me it's pretty tough to hit. Not everybody, but that's the league average. So if you go up to home plate and hit like you have to cover the whole strike zone and not look for what you want inside and out, hard or soft, it's like hitting with 2 strikes. And so do you want to be a 185 hitter? No, I don't think so. Have an idea.
Won't be playing very long.
No, you won't.
Went after that one that was away. Good pitch down and away, and a 1-ball 2-strike count.
And I think one of the difficulty for Hansen is that he could be, even though this game is tied, effectively wild because he uses all his pitches. You know, he'll throw one up in the zone. That one was a good fastball running down and away. It looks like it's going to be in the middle of the plate. But one of the reasons he's a #1 prospect is because he has a very live and late moving fastball. So it looks like it's going to be somewhere in the middle of the plate and then runs to the corner. And then some cut.
Signs being given, Bobby Cox, to the catcher on what he wants to do about the runner at first base as far as any throw over. 1-2 delivery on the way. A slider will be taken inside, and a 2-ball 2-strike count on Luke Scott. Luke has hit the lefties better this season, 357, than he has the right-handers, 287. But he's got 7 home runs against each so far.
Yeah, last year only hit 215 against left-handers. Well, first of all, he's healthy. He told us in spring training that Achilles, that back foot, that left foot, it healed over the winter. Played through it all last year.
2-2 delivery, tap foul again. McCann continues to set up away on these pitches to Luke Scott.
You want to hear my theory on why he's hitting lefties better? Number one, he's healthy. Number two, if I was going to get Luke Scott out, I know he's a terrific fastball hitter. He can hit it out anywhere. He's probably the strongest Oriole here. Of all the guys, he's got more strength. So how do you get him out? There are the numbers we were talking about. You throw him a lot of changeups. Do left-handers throw a lot of changeups to left-handers?
Nope.
No. So there you go. Righties are trying to, when they get him out, ball moving away, trying to really change speeds. A big slow curveball.
So Hansen's thrown that changeup away to him. Now a fastball away, and he doesn't chase, and the count is full, 3-2.
And the pitch count already is 57. We're only in the third inning.
So the runner will be going. Aubrey Huff at first base with 2 down. The Orioles have a run in on the Huff single after Jones led it off with a single. 3-2 on Luke Scott. Outfield deep and playing him around to left. 3-2 delivery. Breaking ball's way up high, and he draws another walk. He has 2 of the 3 surrendered by Hansen. Well, the inning stays alive, and Salazar will get a chance. Oscar Salazar playing at first base, a strikeout victim. His first time up in the ball game. And the pitches by Tommy Hansen continue to be all over the place. A couple of strikeouts, 3 walks, 2 runs, 5 hits. Out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and not picked until the 22nd round of the 05 draft.
Yeah, he was one of those draft and follow guys. Andy Pettit, who was, I think, 21st round draft, where you draft them, they usually go to a junior college and you follow them. And Pettit did that. So did Hansen. They have stopped that process, and I guess you get up to about 2 weeks to the following year to sign them. You know, now what the deadline's August 15th.
Got to hurry it along.
They're going to be calling that the Steven Strasburg deadline.
That's right.
The Mendoza line, the Strasburg
line. That's a lot. Strasburg line's a lot higher than the Mendoza
is it
line,
ever?
However.
Mario Mendoza, of course, that was what, 200 or 199? I don't know. I always thought it was 200. If you're below the Mendoza line, boy, you're usually not in the big leagues very long.
1-0 delivery on the way. A fastball. Salazar will take that for his strike. 1-1.
You don't want to be on any of those interstates.
No.
You know, the I-95, I-80. Nope. That does not allow you to get that meal money for very long.
Those will only get you to the ballpark. They won't get you in the game. Salazar with a 1-ball, 1-strike count and 2 down. Runners on first and second base. And that one will be taken away. Throwing hard and away to him in a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Yeah, 95 miles per hour, and that's what he struck him out, but it was knee high. So, again, you told us the numbers, 372, 10 home runs for Oscar. He can look fastball. Doesn't mean he's going to get it, but he can hit that hanging slider off it. That's pretty good hitter's count right here.
2-1 delivery to him. Salazar bloops it into right field for a base hit. That will score Aubrey Huff. Maybe. Throw to the plate, and he is out! Jeff Francoeur, even with the runner going on contact. Francoeur able to make the one-hop throw to McCann, and Huff is retired at the plate. Jeff Francoeur, who has a cannon, and McCann had it blocked. And another close call.
It is because you got a Gold Glove right fielder, won into Gold Glove Frank Gore back in 2007. 19 assists that year. He had 14 last year, 59 coming into this year. So again, rocket arm, great field if you charge the ball because it's very shallow in right field. So Brian McCann, pretty good night right here. Well, he's already thrown out a runner, makes a great tag, and Frank Gore allows him to do that. Aubrey Huff, as you mentioned, he was running on the pitch. He doesn't have a lot of foot speed. So again, it took a perfect throw, and Frank Gore was able to come up with it.
So a big play, defensive play. We've had a couple of them so far in this ball game, and the Orioles get a run on 3 hits, leaving a couple on in the third. Ball game's tied at 2-2. 2-3-0 for the Braves. 2-6-0 for the Orioles. Jason Birkin will face McCann, and the pitch is taken down low for a ball. One of the hotter hitters in the National League right here over the last month. 373, 4th best number in the National League for that period. And misses with it. 2-0. The former Oriole Miguel Tejada has moved into 2nd place in average in the National League. Is batting .395 the last month.
Well, we saw that early on in his career he good for power, but when he broke Cal Ripken's single hit record, he could get a hit to center or right just about any time he wanted. Maybe he's gone back to that stroke.
2-1 delivery on the way. That's hit hard, and it is a fair ball right on the line. Chuck Merriweather had the call. Here's the throw to second. Markakis, and he's out. Oh, mercy. The D's on the move in this game. McCann's going to put up an argument there with Laz Diaz. But right field's the place to be if you got an arm, and the 2 in this game do.
Well, you got one guy with 17 last year. We told you about Frank Gore, won his first Gold Glove. In the American League, you can see Salazar can't get to that double. I don't know if there's a better right fielder than Nick Markakis. He shows you right there, and McCann thinks he was safe. You can see Robert Andino with the tag. Better angle right here. And again, very, very close. Only guy that counted called him out. Could have called him safe very easily. But again, you don't even get this call if you don't make the perfect throw. And that's what Markakis was able to do.
And Garrett Anderson goes after the first pitch. He delivers a single, so he is on. Nick Markakis, 6th assist, tied for the league lead again.
He dropped the glove. Drop it. That's what Mark Belanger with his 9 Gold Gloves to do well. To me, it appeared safe. But again, the throw. And of course, Laz Diaz is right there. It's not like he didn't have a good angle. It's not like he didn't work himself into being able to get the right perspective. There you go. Tied for first. Can you top this?
Boy, good defensive work in this ball game. Melvin Moore has made a spectacular play at third. Both right fielders have thrown base runners out. I'm just seeing some fine plays in this game.
Well, you talked about it. I mean, these teams, again, if you look at the Braves, they're 12th out of 16th in runs, 12th in home runs. The Orioles are 10th in runs. They're going to have to win the close games. And how do you do that? You make the plays when they're presented to you.
That one right over the head, a breaking ball that did nothing.
Well, Canizares did something. Barbaro, he just ducked. Otherwise, he took one right off the helmet.
Kind of kidded about his scouting report on him, but it is true. This guy just gets his hacks. He can hit the baseball.
What they say, he can rake.
Foul ball. Yeah, rake's the term that was used. They don't have a position for him, and they really called him up because of interleague play, figuring to use him as the DH. But tonight he gets a start at first base. Prado goes over to third, and Chipper Jones gets a chance to DH.
Yeah, I think Chipper Jones, when he had that, he's got something going on with that right toe. So Bobby Cox, and we know Cox can manage. He won his 2001st game on Monday as a Brave manager.
There he goes, hitting away. That's going to be in the gap, left center field, and go all the way to the wall. Anderson coming to third, and he'll be held there. It'll be a stand-up double. So the first 3 batters here in the 4th inning have all picked up hits, 2 singles and a double. And there'd be a run in, but for that play by Markakis.
Well, second time through the order, and one of our PNC scouting reports was cheese at the knees. And all the balls in this inning have been up. The home run back in the first, hang-in slider. Garrett Anderson with not a lot of speed. You know, he hurt his right calf and his left quadricep early in the year. Well, again, at age, 36, 37. I asked him today. I couldn't remember. He said, I'm just old.
Close enough.
And Rick Cranich coming out, the Oriole pitching coach, saying, okay, let's get back. If we're going to make our pitches and use all our pitches, something that Jason Birkin's tried to do.
Jason Birkin had his win in his first start against Toronto, a 7-2 victory. He gave up 2 runs, 7 over 5. He has lost the last 2 against Detroit and Oakland, and the one at Oakland not a good start. 9 runs, 7 hits in just 3 1/3 innings in that game. His ERA jumped from 2.25 to 7.04 in that one outing. That ball is going to be popped back. Wieters coming back and will not have a play. Jeff Francoeur, a strike.
Well, that was a 3-run home run hanging slider right there. And Jeff Francoeur, he's been struggling a little bit, even though he's used the whole field. Not a lot. A lot of times when he came up and he had those great years, they say, well, he's pulling the ball too much. But that was a home run swing right there and a good pitch, and he just missed it.
He's just hitting .214 in June with a home run. He's got 2 in scoring position and 1 out. 0-1 delivery to him. Francoeur off the end of the bat this time. He flied to center his first time up, and Birkin gets ahead on him. A 2-strike count. We were saying the Atlanta newspapers, the Atlanta Constitution ran a big story today about whether or not this player should be traded, whether or not he just needs to find a new place to play.
And not because they don't like him.
No.
I mean, he's a very likable young man. And he does strike out a lot, over 100 the last 3 years. So this is, for Jason Birkin, perfect count. I mean, you got 94 miles per hour, but you got an 0-2 count, strikeout guy at the plate. You have a base open, but right here, take advantage of it. Make your pitches. Make him expand the strike zone and do it on your terms. And again, this is a young pitcher. Again, fourth major league start. Let's see if he can do that.
0-2 delivery on the way. One of the problems was that when Francoeur got sent down to the minors, and in the offseason he then went to the Texas hitting coach, Rudy Jaramillo, rather than to Terry Pendleton, the Atlanta hitting coach, and didn't tell Atlanta he was doing it. That did not sit well with the Atlanta organization. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way. Swung on and missed. Got him to chase. There's a big strikeout. The 3rd for Birkin in the game, and there are 2 down in the 4th inning.
Well, the maturation of a young pitcher at his 4th major league start. You get ahead, and there's that slider. There's the good one. Threw him a bad one. He fouled it off. He had a pitch to hit. That was on strike 1, and then you can just see him say, hi, I'm waving at you. Terrific 2-strike pitch.
Now Kelly Johnson with runners at 2nd and 3rd, but now there are 2 down. Johnson, a strikeout victim, his first time up, and he will take the pitch for a strike. So Birkin trying to work his way out of it.
And he did it with changeups. And what does he start him off with this time? A good low and away changeup. Now this is not a National League ballpark, otherwise you'd have the pitcher on deck.
Got a pitch to Johnson. It'll be taken inside. Interleague play. The Braves beat Toronto, swept them in 3, while the Orioles split 2 out of 3 from the Nationals in their series. And this is the second weekend of interleague play going on now around Major League Baseball. 1-1 delivery. That'll be inside. 2-ball, 1-strike count. All time against Atlanta. Orioles 11 wins and 16 losses. They last played in 2006 when the Braves took 2 out of 3 at Turner Field in Atlanta. 2-1 delivery on the way. Johnson reaches right field. Nick Markakis going back. He's got it. So with a little help from Nick Markakis to get McCann early in the inning, 2 are left on, and it's still 2-2.
And 2 hours before and 1 hour after each Orioles home game, there are plenty of big screen HD TVs to catch all the action on Masson. Plus, each game, the O's All Access pregame show is broadcast live from the bar with Tom Davis and Dave Johnson from 1 hour before the game right up to game time. So, don't miss the bar's pregame specials and postgame fun. It's the Bud Light Warehouse Bar on Utah Street. Gary?
All right, Amber. And a great night to be here and there, as ballpark's got a great crowd in it and a good ball game. Tommy Hansen, the 22-year-old for the Atlanta Braves, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts against Matt Wieters. That one ripped foul. If these two started as battery mates, you'd have the beginning of a new NBA championship team. Your front line would be pretty big. Not by NBA standards, of course.
So there you go. A couple of multi-hit games. About to making adjustments.
Getting the average going, and the floater will miss outside.
You know, it's asking Terry Crowley. Not too many Orioles have that high leg kick. And of course, there have been some great hitters that have had it. I mean, the one guy that comes to mind, of course, international player, Sadahara, had probably the highest leg kick of anybody.
He's got a base hit going into the corner. It'll be chased down by Francoeur, and Matt Wieters is just stroking the ball. That's what he did the first time up, and he's 2 for 2.
Yeah, I think the first breaking ball that Tommy Hansen has gotten hurt on. And it's just a big curveball that ends up belt high in the middle of the plate. And Matt Wieters is not going to miss it. There it is. Now, they said it was 12-6. This is more, I don't know, maybe 11-5, and it doesn't work. Down and in curveballs, unless you really throw them well or maybe you have 2 strikes, just aren't that effective.
Matt Wieters taking advantage of it. Now here's Andino. Prado's in at third base. He takes the pitch away for a ball. Orioles now have 7 hits. And a leadoff man on again. Leadoff man Roberts scored in the first inning. They've had the leadoff man on in all 4 innings of the ball game. Fielder's choice first time up for Robert Andino, the shortstop. And Andino will foul it away. 1-1. Two ball clubs who are really trying to discover what they really are. Is Atlanta really a 500 ball club? Is the Orioles team one that can get to 500? They are a season high 10 games under right now. Bobby Cox's team 29-30. They're only 6.5 out in a wide open National League East. 1 ball, 1 strikeout, Andino. And another foul back, 1-2.
Yeah, pretty good fastball right in on his fist. I was talking to Robert today. I said, do you always play the infield? He said, well, most of the time when I did play with the Marlins last year, it was at second base. But when I was a kid, I was a center fielder. And then just kind of graduated to becoming a shortstop. Played pretty well in games that I've watched.
Very well.
Very defensively. 3 for 10 in the Seattle series.
And hitting .250. And
well, not a lot of power. What, the 1 double? More of a slashing type of hitter, line drive hitter.
Near the wall, it's caught in foul territory. Francoeur got over. Andino is retired. Wieters back to first base. Adam Jones, Nick Markakis, they are in the running for starting position in the All-Star game. You can help with a vote. Vote orange, save green by voting for your Birds. The favorite 25 times. You'll receive a free upper reserve seat to any non-prime O's game after the break. So vote early, vote often. For details, Orioles.com/vote orange. Brian Roberts has a double and has struck out. Brian now with a 4-game hit streak going. Pushing that average back up close to the 290 mark. And he takes the pitch in there for a strike.
And Prado plays, Brian, like he bunts, and he never bunts. I mean, he's in on the grass.
They talk about all these scouting reports they get.
Well, I mean, look where.
Yet every team, almost every team, plays Brian Roberts to bunt. 0-1 delivery. You can't even remember the last time Brian Roberts tried to bunt for a base hit.
And again, I'm not suggesting that he stops hitting doubles. You know, something he does with about as good as anybody. I just think every once in a while you need to show the other team that you can do that. And I saw Robbie Alomar, and I was talking to Dave Tremblay about it because Dave would like to get him to do that more often, but he hasn't embraced it. Robbie would come out, and it's kind of like when you're a kid, you know, if you were shooting baskets, you're, hey, you know, so-and-so did this, I'm going to try it.
That one to second base, played by Johnson. 1 quick throw. Got him. Brian Roberts hits into the double play as Escobar never bothered to take a stride. Watch him make the throw. The shortstop, he just leans back and fires, and it works. 2-2. On. Look this way. Look.
Yeah, but where's his floppy hat? Isn't
You're
it
on the
floppy,
screen.
Floppy hat night?
Floppy hat night.
Oh, you got to be 18 and older. Wow. Should have stood on a box.
Real good crowd on hand and a good ball game. We're tied at 2-2 going to the fifth inning. It'll be Martin Prado, the number 9 hitter, who's got an 8-game hit streak going, and goes after the first pitch and pops it up to short. And maybe third. Yep, third. Mora wants it and takes it.
Over on the left side.
Yeah, usually those shortstops come over and take it away from a third baseman if he's backing up, but Melvin wanted that one because Martin Prado's a good friend and he wanted to catch it. And he did. 1 down. 3-game series here against the Braves. Game 2 tomorrow night. Rich Hill 2-1. Kawakami, who is 3-6. Kenshin Kawakami for the Braves, and then Brad Bergeson Sunday afternoon against the veteran Derek Lowe, who is 7-3. Nate McLouth in the leadoff spot has singled and scored and struck out. Braves got 2 runs in the first inning. Escobar, the second hitter of the ball game, got his 6th home run, driving he and McLouth in. Orioles got back in the first inning. RBI Jones and a ground ball out. RBI single by Huff to tie it up in the third. And that's where we are, 2-2. Two-one delivery, and McLouth will punch that one third base side. Moore's not going to get this one. Just enough to be out of his reach. And a single and a 2-for-3 ball game for McLouth. Let's look forward to the pitching matchup tomorrow, brought to you by M&T Bank, understanding what's important.
Yeah, Kawakami along with Lowe and also Javier Vasquez. So the Braves try to fortify their starting pitching. And you look at his numbers when we look at Kawakami, he reminds me very much when you look at the numbers, control pitcher from Japan, obviously, but very much like Koji Uehara. He didn't walk a whole lot of guys. Did have some back problems. Rich Hill is coming off a game where he just didn't command his fastball, and as we know, and they know him because he pitched with the Cubs a little bit last year and a lot a couple of years ago. They know, and they were talking about it on the bench today. Boy, one of the best curveballs in the National League. He's brought it over to the American League.
Here is Escobar, who had the home run. His 6th of the season. He got robbed of an extra base hit his last time up by Melvin Moore on a diving play at third base down the line. He's had a couple of real quality at bats. Trying to get to the 300 mark as far as the average is concerned.
Not a real big lead, but a leaning lead. And one thing about McLouth, we talked about his ability. Only been caught, 5 times out of 71 attempts. 9-0 this year, 2-0 as a Brave.
Trying to get a read on Birkin. Breaking ball off speed is in there for a strike, and it will go to 1-1 on Escobar. Escobar is only 26 years old. He's done a fine job at shortstop for this ball club, and a good job in the number 2 hole, moving runners around and picking up RBIs when he's had a chance. 1-1. Birkin the high set. Foul that one back. Big cut, 1-2.
And Nate McLouth, for a guy that can steal bases, not a very big lead at all.
I think he might want to draw a throw over there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, not. But again, I mean, usually you could be a step, maybe step and a half out on this cut right here, and I mean, you'll see let's see if he gets any bigger. I mean, that's really what, 2.5 step. That's your normal lead. Yeah, maybe a little bit bigger here. That's a little bit bigger than it was. And Jason Birkin. When you look at the Orioles' young pitchers, and we saw David Hernandez, who has gone back to Norfolk. And the one thing about Brad Bergeson, he has almost his windup from a stretch is like a slide step. Birkin has a little bit higher leg kick, so maybe a little bit easier to run on.
That one hit him. Caught him around the wrist.
Even though he makes no attempt to get out of the way because the ball tails right in. He's with a couple of strikes trying to protect the plate. You hope he didn't get hurt here. Well, again, goes to swing, and then the ball just runs and runs and runs and hits him either somewhere. It's hard to tell. Maybe left wrist. Oh, actually the right wrist.
Not good.
Yep.
And obviously in some pain. Ball club's going through. The Atlanta Braves are problems as far as injuries are concerned. Casey Kochman, their first baseman, is already out of there. He won't be back probably till Tuesday. You saw where that one got him, and that can do some damage to the small bones in that area, and almost guarantees there'll be some swelling. And the question is he going to be able to throw the baseball or hold the bat? So Birkin, that's the second batter hit this season. And that puts runners on at first and second base for Chipper Jones.
So they've stayed away from the fastball. First time they got on a rollover, actually pop it up. A rollover and a changeup, and then the good curveball, one of the better curveball that Jason Birkin's thrown tonight, got him to fly out to center field.
0 for his last 11. Outside for a ball. He went 0 for 4 yesterday, and for only the 4th time this year has gone 2 consecutive games hitless. He's the designated hitter in this ball game, a role he has played before in interleague competition. 1-0 delivery. As a DH, 305, 7 homers, and 12 RBIs, coming into the ball game with 82 at bats as a designated hitter.
And again, hitting .400 with runners in scoring position.
He's right at the top of the pile in the National League. Swung on and missed. Good pitch by Birkin. 2-1.
Well, not only is it a good pitch, I mean, again, it's 89, but well located with very good late life. So in other words, the ball gets to the hitter and then almost explodes to the catcher. You could just see it go through the strike zone. So again, how do you do that? Well, you have a good windup. You have a good arm. Birkin, a terrific high school athlete.
Towards the seats, and Luke Scott coming over along with Mora, and neither will have a play.
Yeah, Jason Birkin was an all-state basketball, football, and baseball player out of Wisconsin, and terrific quarterback.
Matt Albers in the bullpen for the O's. First warm-up action. We're in the 5th inning. 74 pitches thrown.
Yeah, and Matt has been pitching very, very well. A guy that struggled early. When we talk about Matt Albers, went down to Norfolk, came back, and was just rediscovered the sinker.
Big moment in the ball game. 2-2, 1 down, 2 on. Chipper Jones, and he'll take the pitch inside. Birkin wanted it, didn't get the call, and it is a full count, 3-2. Now, do you send the runners with only one away? And Chipper Jones not hitting. 3-2, 1 out.
Yeah, I wouldn't think they'd stay exactly where they are. Nope, they're going.
And ball 4.
Yep.
That is the first walk surrendered by Birkin, and that one wasn't close. And the bases are loaded for the cleanup batter and a hot hitting catcher, McCann.
Well, Rick Craddock's back out, and again we've seen Tommy Hansen throw maybe what is the appropriate pitch when you go over the hitters before the game. But again, once you get into the game, can you command it? So the 3-2 changeup's a wonderful pitch. He had just thrown a 94-mile-per-hour fastball, but probably again for the first time, it's only his 4th major league start. How often do you, in the minor leagues, you face a guy like Chipper Jones? You don't.
You hope you don't.
You don't. So again, I mean, that's why the major leagues are so different. You got better hitters in different situations, and some guys handle a little bit better. And this is, again, I mean, and how do you handle it the next time it happens? You get the experience.
Well, moment becomes a little bigger. With only 1 away, McCann has already had 2 singles in the ball game and has been thrown out on the base paths twice. He got taken out in a fielder's choice in the 1st inning, and then was thrown out by Nick Markakis in the 4th inning, trying to get a single to a double. Now he's got the bases loaded and only 1 away. This season 2 for 3 with the bases loaded. Couple of RBIs. No grand slams this season for him. 1-0 count, 3 on. 2-2 game. And he's got a base hit into center field. McLouth will score. Escobar will be held. Good throw by Jones in. So it'll be a 1 RBI single. McCann gets it, 3 for 3 in the game, and the Braves will get a 3-2 lead.
Again, fastball down the middle, and Brian McCann, you talked about it, hitting over 370 last 3 years. Nobody, when we come to catchers, has hit better. Doubles, home runs, all-star catcher. Eye problem early on, had LASIK surgery last year. The actual prescription changed. That's why he's wearing the glasses when he hits. And Dave Tremblay, again with the bases loaded, he's going to bring in the sinker baller to Matt Albers.
So Birkin is out of there. He will work just 4 1/3 innings. He'll be responsible for all 3 base runners on. Albers out of the pen. The line so far, 3 runners on his responsibility. Albers will try and leave them there.
Yeah, and the Orioles are going to try to bring in Matt Albers and maybe get 1 pitch to get a couple of outs. And he's been very, very good. Those are the numbers the whole year, and early on really struggled. And it's kind of interesting. Rehabbed his shoulders after having a small tear in the labrum last year that shut him down the last 3 months of the year, and then came in this year throwing with better velocity, but he lost his sink, so they sent him to Norfolk. If you look at the Braves, they're everywhere. Garrett Anderson's going to come to the plate. And then all of a sudden, got better mechanics, ball's sinking. He's got a good curveball, and he's got a changeup. Orioles need a ground ball.
Base is loaded. Anderson has delivered a single and hit into a fielder's choice. Still only 1 away. Looking for that ground ball. And that is in there for a strike. Albers, since coming back on May 22 after he went down to get things fixed, has worked in this being his 10th game, has given up just 3 runs in 12 1/3, a 2.19 ERA. And his responsibility even more than that here, of course, with the runners on. 0-1 count. And that will miss down low. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Garrett Anderson. Anderson with the sacks full, 2 for 3. 7 bases loaded RBIs this season. He's got them full out there right now. Escobar, Jones, and McCann. 1-1 delivery to him. Slider up high and inside. 2-1.
Yeah, I doubt that was, other than that it was called a ball. That ball had to go over the plate, and it wasn't out of the strike zone high. You know, the Orioles don't. Mike Riley, been around a long time. Good umpire. He was umpiring when I was playing, so we know he's been around. Yes, very much so.
2-1 delivery on the way. 3-1, nowhere to put him.
Well, what happens is now Garrett Anderson, who came into this season with a 296 lifetime average with power, closing in on 300 home runs, is going to get a pitch to pick.
3-1 delivery on the way to him. Anderson late on the cut. 3-2.
You know what I noticed, and we talked about Garrett Anderson, and this is going to be his 15th year. I think he was born back in 1972, so he is 32. So he doesn't catch up with that fastball. That he's been cheating on the fastball, so very susceptible to breaking ball, but I don't think they'll throw one. 3-2.
3-2 delivery, foul bag. Little heat outside maybe, but he had to protect on it. Anderson was on the DL for a while with the quad problems. Came back on May 5 and has hit safely in 20 of 25 games since then. 297 since getting back off the DL. 257 overall. Bases loaded, 1 out, a 3-2 Atlanta lead. 3-2 delivery again. Anderson, a bases loaded walk. That will drive a skipper bonanza.
And he doesn't walk a whole lot. I mean, you know, last year 29 times and almost 560 times at the plate, so you have to walk him. And Matt Albers fell behind him 3-1, and then that running fastball ran out of the strike zone.
Only the 9th walk he's picked up. He will also get an RBI. That's his 18th. It is a 4-2 lead. Bases remain loaded. And now a very dangerous Barbaro Canizares, who tagged one into the gap his last time up. And as we said, he just comes looking to crank. He's there to hit.
Yeah, that's the bad news for the Orioles. The good news is, if by some chance Matt Albers does what he does best, which is sink the ball, if you get a grounder at somebody, you will probably turn a double play, or at least there'll be potential to do that.
1-0 count on him, and that's going to be blooped to short. 1 and could have had 2. Good try, Salazar, but he couldn't hang on. Boy, that would have been a big base running blunder by Garrett Anderson, because he was not going to get back to the bag.
Yeah, I don't know where he was going. And right there, he's almost like he thinks he's going to get hit. And, you know, Salazar did not play a lot of first base. Right here is your snap throw, and the ball should have been caught. Was it a great throw? No, but it's certainly catchable. Boy, what a way to get out of the inning.
So the Braves get a break. 2 down. Jeff Francoeur inside for a ball. So far, 2 runs in, both charged to Jason Burkin, the starter. Jones at third base, McCann on at second, Garrett Anderson, fortunate for him, on at first, and Francoeur, who has struck out and flied out. 1-0 count. And down to third base, that is a foul ball. 1-1.
But it goes back, and I guess the theme that you were talking about, I mean, the Braves come in, they're 29-30. The Orioles are 25-35, as you mentioned, 10 games under 500. But again, if you're going to play teams that are somewhat evenly matched, do you make the plays or don't you make the plays? A play to get out of the inning. So now, what does Matt Albers? If you're going to play in concert, he has to get the Orioles out of this inning.
And keep it at a 2-run differential if he can do so.
Yeah, make the guys behind him think they have a chance to win.
Francoeur lifts it in the air. He got a lot of that. Left center field. There's room, and it's caught. Luke Scott back to get it on the warning track. So just 2 runs. Bases are left loaded, but the Braves go up 4-2. Young Award winner, 305 wins, headed for the Hall of Fame. What's his future? Nobody knows right now. He was let go by the Braves at the very last second. He said the Braves knew they were going to release me on Tuesday afternoon. They still paraded me out in Rome, that's in the minor leagues, to a sold-out crowd. Extremely aggravating. Well, the response from the Braves chairman, I know the very tough time. It was purely and only on the merits of what was going to help the ball club. What could we do? They didn't think Glavin was going to pitch. Well, Frank Wren then said our evaluation, he would not be successful of Glavin's major league outlook. Tommy Glavin didn't like that either. Glavin came back and said, based on my performance, bad. I just threw in scoreless innings. Was I supposed to throw a no-hitter and strike out 15? That's never been my style of pitching. Then there were rumors that Tommy Glavin might bring an action against the Atlanta Braves for letting him go at the last second. He says, I don't believe for a minute it was performance related, which I'm totally fine with, but I would have appreciated the honesty. So, for Tommy Glavin, the issue, where is he going to go? Schuerholz then came out and apologized on behalf of the club, said it probably wasn't done right, didn't explain the circumstances well. We made a tough decision, a unanimous one, but to explain to Tommy our high regard for him wasn't done. So, Glavin now sits and waits. He hasn't filed anything against the Braves, and we'll see. One of the reasons he didn't get back is the young 22-year-old on the mound.
Yeah, it's a combination of things. Also, they would have had to pay him $1 million bonus. They said that had nothing to do with it. You know, all the people are writing, well, you went out and got Vasquez. You got Kawakawa. You went out and, you got a Derek Lowe for a lot of money. What's $1 million? Well, $1 million is $1 million. And then, of course, Frank Wren said, well, it was the ballpark radar gun. Well, Glavin never got people out because he was a hard thrower, even though he used to throw maybe 90, 91. And Maddox, he's won 350 games, even though he is retired this year, throwing 83, 84. And what did Bobby Cox say? Very loyal, very much like Earl Weaver. Won 244 games for the Braves. And Bobby Cox, he goes, arm looked pretty darn strong to me.
And a slow chopper down to first base. Pitcher will cover, and just in time. That was close. Canizares gets the flip, as Tommy Hansen didn't exactly explode off the mound to get over there, but he got there in time to get the out. Jones retired. Well, we had a question, Tommy K. in York. Would signing a veteran pitcher like Tommy Glavin help the young Orioles staff to mature?
Well, no doubt about that. And, of course, they wouldn't be paying a lot of money for him. I'm not sure ideally it would be the best interest to come to the American League with the DH. But, again, the way he keeps the ball out of the middle of the plate, probably could pitch anywhere. I think he's going to get an opportunity. I talked to Bobby Cox today, as you did, Gary, and he said he told me that his agent was going to talk to other teams. And again, everybody's watching him pitch.
Yeah.
I can understand. You got to let Hansen pitch at some time. They didn't handle it very well. And again, a guy, the reason that Bobby Cox is as Earl Weaver, Bobby Cox is going to be a Hall of Fame manager with 2,345 wins, is because he protects his players. And, I know that my career probably would have gone a little bit longer if Earl hadn't retired, because he would have given me a chance to fail. And I think that's what Bobby Cox wanted to do with Tom Glavin, because he knows how hard he worked to at least have the possibility of coming back and wearing a Braves uniform.
Yep. 0-2 count to Nick Markakis. Nick a single, and he has flied out. Tommy Hansen will step off here with 0-2 and 1 away.
Well, how about the irony of this? John Smoltz, who was supposed to pitch last night, is pitching tonight. He's probably going to pitch when the Red Sox, because they signed him, when the Red Sox, and there's your high fastball, and again getting ahead of Nick Markakis makes him expand the strike zone. But he'll probably pitch when the Red Sox come down to Atlanta.
That will be interesting. And the stage has been set for that.
Oh, high heat. And again, if it's 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, Nick's just going down to first base on a walk. When we talk about getting ahead, here's a perfect example. Real good hitter at the plate. He gets ahead of him, and then he makes him chase.
Aubrey Huff 2 down and nobody on. And Huff, who's the DH in the ball game, he has singled and walked and been thrown out at the plate on a fine play by Jeff Francoeur in the 3rd inning.
You know, to go back to that email question, just think how important Derek Lowe is going to be to Tommy Hansen, because Hansen throws harder, and you know Lowe's a great sinker baller, but they're almost the same size. They almost had the same windup. We're going to see Lowe on Sunday, and there is Derek Lowe. You know, they got him because he can win. He's durable. He knows how to pitch. He actually got a single off of Santana.
Yep.
He said, "I can hit in the National League too." So again, I think that yes, veteran pitchers do help young pitchers. Lowe is going to make a world of difference to Tommy Hansen.
2-0 delivery on the way, and that'll be fouled back. There is always the rub. Baseball is a business, and in the business world, there's a hierarchy. If you bring a veteran pitcher like a Glavin or a Lowe to your organization, there's also a pitching coach. And you better be on the same page, because if one thinks player-wise that he's going to decide how young players develop and what they're going to do, and the pitching coach isn't in agreement with that, you got a serious problem in your organization. 2-1 delivery. And in the case of Rick Kranitz, Rick's really come in and worked to develop organizationally. He has been involved with all the minor league levels, all the pitching coaches, trying to solidify what's done so that when players are developed, they'll come to the Orioles major league level all knowing what's expected of them and doing the sorts of things the major league club wants. It's not that that can't happen. It's just a factor. Aubrey Huff will pick up the walk here with 2 down. Here in the 5th inning, the Orioles trailing at 4-2. Want to remind you, on Saturday, June 20, Orioles Reach and the American Red Cross will have a blood drive here at the Yard. Fans will be able to help the Red Cross by donating blood. 6th floor of the warehouse, 8 a.m. until 4. All donors will receive an exclusive Boo Pow Baltimore t-shirt and 2 tickets to an upcoming O's game. Now you can make an appointment, 1-800-GIVE-LIFE. 1-800-GIVE-LIFE. That's going to be next Saturday. If you give blood, please come. If you don't and are fearful of it, don't be. It's very simple, takes very little time, and it is so important, especially in the summer months when the blood available, that generally is not where they need it to be. Here's Melvin Moore, a runner on at first base. And the pitch is outside, 1-1.
Yeah, it made it a key to Melvin again is the ability, as he did in the second half when he got healthy last year, when he drove in 48 runs in 56 games, is to use the whole field. So yeah, he hadn't hit home runs, he hadn't driven any runs, you know, hit the ball very well his last time up, but starts spraying the ball all around the ballpark. Then all of a sudden they pitch him differently. He'll, you know, more breaking balls, more inside the part of the plate. There's a good slider right there, and he gets the call. Yep, Chuck Merriweather says strike 2. But that's how Melvin has always hit.
Here's another situation in this ballgame as you watch this where the Orioles had a chance to get to this young 22-year-old early. They left the bases loaded in the 1st inning. Didn't do it. How many times do you see this in baseball, and how many times have the Orioles seen it this year?
Well, we saw it last night with Garrett Olson. 6 of the first 9 guys got on, and only the Luke Scott 2-run home run put runs on the board for the Orioles.
Runner at first, 2 down. The 1-2 delivery on the way to Mora. Breaking ball way outside, blocked by McCann.
See, I pitched like Tommy Hansen. I mean, I came up at age 19, and I was, you know, I had a curveball and eventually would have a slider and a changeup. But, you know, you're going to come and get yourself in and out of jams. And again, the days you have your bad outings is when they take advantage of that, talking about the opposition. Because, again, if you have a power arm and you're the #1 prospect, as he is, that arm can get you out of some jams.
And he has done that, especially that high heat, which he loves to throw. He loves to throw that high fastball. 2-ball, 2-strike count. That can be dangerous at this level, but when it's 96 or 97 miles an hour and he can get it up that high, it can be tough to catch up to.
And he's an uncomfortable guy to hit off of because he's all over the place. It's not like you can, I mean, if we watch Brian McCann's glove, ball doesn't always get there, but the stuff is so live that he's going to get away with mistakes. It's almost a very funny delivery. He gets extension, and then you always talk about using the big parts of your muscles, the shoulders, and getting over your front side to take the force off the elbow and the forearm. I think he does that pretty well. But a lot of stuff going on out there at 6'6".
2-ball, 2-strike count on Mora. Ivory Huff for the walk on at first base. On the 2-2, that is the fourth strikeout that Hansen has picked up in the ballgame. No runs, no hits, with a base runner left on, and the Braves lead it 4-2.
Here at Camden Yards tonight. Starts early. Andino trying to steal a second base. Brian McCann, all-star catcher, throws him out. And then right here, Frank Gore won a Gold Glove 2007. You can't run on me as Huff is out. And then right here, McCann, who looked like he doubled down the line, he gets snuffed at second because of Nick Markakis' great throw.
AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world discovered. So the big defensive plays have mattered. 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Braves. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the O's. Each team has left 6 on base so far. On the mound, Matt Albers, who came on in relief of Jason Birkin in the last inning. And the pitch will be taken away. Kelly Johnson leading it off. Final line on Birkin: 4 runs, 8 hits, 4 1/3, a walk, and 3 strikeouts in his 4th start. Johnson has flied out and struck out 8, 9, and 1 in the order against Albers, and that is down low, and the count goes to 3-0.
Yeah, Matt really not commanding that sinker tonight, and I think you saw Matt Wieters right there move the glove a step to the corner, back to the middle of the plate, because the ball's running that much, but it's running off the plate for balls.
3-0 delivery.
So there's another one. So again, a lot of times you have to adjust, whether you're a pitcher or a catcher, move the target over. Why put it on the corner when it keeps running 4 to 5 inches out? I don't know if we're going to see John Maine, who's now pitching for the Mets, but when he came up with the Orioles, he was much better to lefties in, but to lefties away, they kept going ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, getting hitters counts and struggled. And he certainly changed that once he put on a Met uniform.
Well, Albers has walked 2 of the 4 that he's faced. Here's Martin Prado, has popped out and flied out, looking to bunt down to first, and that will be a foul ball with Salazar moving in. So Bobby Cox asking Prado to sacrifice, even though he's been one of the hottest bats in the lineup. Hitting .273 overall. He has 2 sacrifices. The Braves have 30. Most of those, though, have gone to their pitching staff. Javier Vasquez, who's just pitched extremely well for them and has a 4-5 record to show for it, has got 9 sacrifices already this year.
Yeah, Kelly Johnson doesn't run a lot. 11 steals last year, 9 the year before. I think again Bobby just trying to add to that lead. He'll take his chance kind of an interesting late part of their. They got two guys, Soriano, who usually faces righties to close games, and then Mike Gonzalez, a left-hander with power stuff.
Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way. Showed bunt again, and will take the pitch inside for a ball. Well, these teams struggling mightily, as we said. The Braves coming in June, averaging 3.3 runs a game. The Orioles 1.89. The Braves third fewest in the month of June in the National League. The Orioles with the fewest runs in the month of June in the American League. So you manufacture runs when you're doing that. Prado's trying to do just that, and a great bunt. Wieters makes the play over to first base. It'll be a sacrifice, and that'll move Kelly Johnson down to second base. Oriole fans, when it comes to tickets, you deserve Major League service. So go to StubHub, official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Orioles. Braves in here tomorrow night, Sunday afternoon, 3-game set. Interleague play continues Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as the New York Mets will be here at Camden Yards for 3 night games. Two teams directly involved in the race in the National League East, as Philadelphia leads the Mets by 4 and the Braves by 6.5 starting play today.
Hey, you got that Subway Series. Yankees going to play the Mets over the weekend.
Anywhere but Boston's all right with the Yankees. 0-1 count.
Well, what's wrong with 8 losses in a row this year? 9 overall, if you want to count last year.
That one is fouled off.
So what? It's only hadn't happened since 1912. Just yesterday.
It's not a problem
for us old timers.
For you guys.
Well, you had a birthday.
You remember that game?
Well, yeah. I was there. Cost me a nickel to get in. Now, you had a birthday this week. I saw the big cake.
Yes.
Where'd the cake go?
We ate half of it here, and we sent it down to our magnificent production team, and they ate the other half. Is that good?
All right.
Huh? You wanted a piece of cake? Is that what you're getting at?
Well, I'll tell you.
Too late. That is fouled off right over the tarp.
Right, I had my fork out in my living room
while I was eating the cake.
No, when you brought it out. Buck brought it out and presented it to you. Had a little trouble blowing out the candle.
Notice how we just left that one blank. A 2-strike count. Nate McLouth, top of the order, and he'll take it away. Matt Albers slowing it down a bit here. Anything scored here middle part of this ball game to add to this lead, with the Orioles struggling to get runs themselves, would obviously be big. Johnson's that runner out there at second base.
Well, you got McLouth. He's only 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Not a lot of opportunity since he's come over with the Braves. But the next guy, Escobar, already with a 2-run home run, hitting over 400. So Bobby Cox says, I'll give up an out. Interesting thing, when Earl Weaver managed, of course, we talk about, hey, the 3-run home run, and his theory was if you usually play for 1 run, that's usually what you get. But Bobby Cox will take that extra run here.
Normally would not, but the way they're going, big cut, and Albers got it by him. So Matt Albers gets his first strikeout, and an important one, and there are 2 down.
Well, you can tell what the scouting report is. Try to get him out with breaking balls. And boy, does he dove. One of those backdoor curveballs starts off the plate. And you can see, I mean, great action right there, trying to cover the outside corner, and then the break of the ball. Roberto Castillo, other than George Sherrill and Mark Hendrickson, one of the 3 lefties the Orioles have in their bullpen.
So that will leave it up to the home run man tonight. And El Escobar, 6 home run first inning, 2 RBIs. He's been hit by a pitch, scored then. Grounds this one to second base. Brian Roberts over to get it. And Albers works his way out of it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a base runner left on. 6 have been left on in the last 3 innings for the Braves. 4-2 Atlanta.
Jake Arrieta has been promoted from AA Bowie up to AAA Norfolk, and today he got his first start against Indianapolis. He's still in the game. He's gone 5 innings, given up 1 earned run, and struck out 6. Also, Tim Bascom, he has been promoted from Single A Frederick up to AA Bowie. He started tonight for Bowie. He lasted 7 innings, gave up 1 run, and 7 strikeouts. So it looks like they're moving right along with their new promotions, Gary.
Well, that's what was expected as the movement continues from the minor leagues and the flow to the majors, and those players who are expected to hope to make the difference. Orioles down 4-2 as we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Luke Scott, the batter, and he goes after the first pitch, and it's a base hit. Kelly Johnson looked like he might have had a chance on that, but it was tailing away, and Scott's got a leadoff single.
Yeah, I'd probably hit it a little bit up on the trademark, and of course, you know, we're used to him hitting home runs. 9 of the last 14 home runs for the Orioles. So again, Johnson, it looked to me he just didn't get a good read on it, and that's so difficult. A lot of times we see infielders, they jump prematurely or they don't get the proper timing. And of course, the scouting report in Kelly Johnson, better hitter than defensive player.
Now Oscar Salazar, he has struck out and singled in the ball game. Orioles with the bottom part of the order coming up here. Wild cut on a Hansen slider.
Yeah, and that's been a pitch over the last 2-3 innings, and that's what Salazar hit softly into right field with Huff on second base, and then Frank Core to end the inning threw him out. But that's a pitch that's been much more effective lately than it was early on in the game.
Starter for Atlanta, 22-year-old, second game. That one in the air to left field. Back on it, Garrett Anderson. He's got it. Scott will go back to first base. Salazar retired, 1 away in the 6th inning. Atlanta Braves, good little action going. Peter Moylan up, Eric O'Flaherty. Double barrel, first time action for Atlanta in the pen.
Yeah, Moylan from Australia, O'Flaherty from Seattle. They picked them up on waivers. You're righty and you're lefty.
Right now, Hansen working along fairly well.
Yeah, how many 22-year-old pitchers would get the leash, the long leash to pitch right here from other guys other than Bobby Cox? I don't think it happens very often. And to me, that's how you learn about your young guys. Number one, you give them the responsibility to go out there. And Dave Tremblay talked about his team. And give them a chance to fail, but also succeed. And that's how you learn. That's how you grow.
Braves, of course, have lived and died by their pitching over the last couple of decades. Now trying to regroup their starting rotation. Wieters will take it away. From 1991 to 2005, for all of that period, the starters for the Atlanta Braves were in the top 3 of ERA except for 2 years. And Bobby Cox, Leo Mazzoni, and the great staff going. Maddox, Smoltz, and Glavin.
Yeah, Denny Nagel was over there. You know, they had a couple of staffs where they were wondering, because I pitched on a staff where we had 4 guys win 20 games, if they could do that a little bit harder in the modern age, especially when you're pitching every 5th day versus every 4th day.
Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way. That'll be taken away, and the count goes to 2-1. Let's take a look at our leaderboard presented by Firestone, a tradition of innovation.
Yeah, look at those numbers. Tony La Russa with the Cardinals. Bobby Cox, as we told you, he's got 2,001 wins as a manager of the Braves. The other wins come with Toronto early on.
And Lou Piniella, the Cubs. 2-1 delivery. Wieters. Foul ball, and he got all of it. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Wieters, of course, looking for that first major league home run. He has delivered a couple of singles in this ball game, and he has 6 hits in his last 9 times to the plate. Matt's now hitting at 270.
And he threw him a 2-1 slider. And again, he's been unpredictable. As good a fastball as he's had, you just don't know when he's going to throw his other pitches.
Runner at first, 1 out, 2-2 delivery, and got him.
Well, it's a perfect 2-2 pitch. Not only do you throw it, and again, not that we're second guessing, but early on he didn't throw that pitch over, so it looked like that he may not get through the 3rd or 4th inning, but he drops this one right on the outside corner, and he gets it close enough where Mike O'Reilly, and again maybe it went around the corner to some degree, but only by about a half an inch, and Riley calls it strike 3.
Tough to take with 2 strikes.
Oh, it really is, but he got fooled.
So Andino now with a runner at first base and 2 down. Andino up the middle. He's got a base hit. Scott will stop at second. McLouth will get it in. And the Orioles have runners on at first and second base. Andino's first hit of the night and the 9th for the O's. And Brian Roberts will come up. Well, the Orioles are getting people on here, but again, the runner in scoring position number has not been a good one for the Orioles. They have left 6 on base, 3 of those in scoring position. Roger McDowell, the pitching coach, out to talk, and looks like he's really trying to draw a little time for the bullpen right here, as he's waiting for the home plate umpire to come out and get him before he turns around and heads back. He's just playing in the dirt. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Well, McDowell gets his time drawn. He heads back for the night. 2 for 5 for the O's with runners in scoring position, and 1 for 7 for the Braves. Brian Roberts will get another shot at it. Tommy Hansen gave up a double to Roberts in the first inning. Brian would score on the ground ball out by Jones. He has since struck out and hit into a double play. First and second and 2 down. First ball hitting this time and fouls it back.
Yeah, Brian led off with a double on a first pitch fastball down and in, and since then, until that pitch, they've stayed away from the fastball. And the thing that's impressive about Tommy Hansen at only 22 years of age is that he pinpointed that fastball at 94 right on the outside corner. Stayed away from the area where Brian Roberts hit the double.
1 strike count. Hansen's delivery to him. Roberts will take it inside. Brian draws you as a pitcher into throwing that pitch. It depends on the game, but in this game, Brian has come to the plate taking a pitch each of his first 3 at bats, indicating almost he would not swing till he had a strike. Then the next, that 4th time up, he figures, just might throw me the fastball here because I've been swinging at first pitches, haven't been swinging. Now I'm going to. I hope to get one to hit.
And also, he's one of the better curveball hitters. If you leave it in the middle of the plate, and again, he's gotten him out with curveballs the last 2 times, he will hit it hard. He hit it hard for the double play.
1-1 away. Brian Roberts in interleague play, 138th game, as both he and Aubrey Huff are playing in their 138th interleague game. He's a .305 hitter in interleague games with 8 home runs and 52 RBIs. Orioles down by 2, have 2 on and 2 out here in the 6th, and stepping back, Tommy Hansen, and Roberts will step out.
Well, how about since 2005 having the 3rd most hits right behind Ichiro and Derek Jeter in interleague play? That's a pretty special number. Consider those 2 guys.
Great names.
Oh, yeah.
2 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. Roberts takes the off-speed pitch. It's inside to him, 3-1. So Hansen's probably got this batter, and that's it. If he can get him, he'll be out of the ball game because he'll be out of the inning. If he doesn't, he may be out of the ball game because the Orioles will have the inning ongoing.
Yeah, Peter Moylan, 96 mile per hour fastball guy, sidearmer out in the bullpen for Bobby Cox. It almost looks like he's leaning to go out on the field.
3-1 delivery, and the bases are loaded. Brian Roberts draws the walk, the 4th surrendered by Hansen in the ball game. And with 2 away, the Orioles have loaded him up, and that will be it for the 22-year-old right-hander in his 2nd major league start. Hansen worked 6 in the no decision game against Milwaukee, and in this one he will work 5 2/3, and his final line will rest on what the bullpen does. Here at Camden Yards, first of 3 against Atlanta. 4-2. Braves lead it for the moment. brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. By Burger King, who remind you to have it your way. And by GE, imagination at work. With Jim Palmer and Amber Theo Harris, I'm Gary Thorne. Tommy Hansen, the 22-year-old, will now become a spectator with the 3 runners on his responsibility.
Yeah, Peter Moylan comes on. You can see third in the National League with those 31 games. But what a story. Signed with the Twins. Got out of baseball, went back to Australia. Actually was a pharmaceutical salesman. Played first base once a week. Used to watch the World Series. Hurt his back. Went from overhand to sidearm. Played in the World Baseball Classic back 2006. They found out that, you know what, maybe somebody wants a guy that throws 96 miles per hour. Signed for $30,000. Was not very good his first year at Atlanta. Back in Richmond, he was 1-7 with a 6.35 ERA, kind of learning how to pitch again, and then lights out. Had Tommy John surgery a year ago, and he's back.
Adam Jones, bases loaded, 2 down, and the pitch will be taken for a strike. On the base paths, the Orioles hope. Scott had a single, he's at third. Adino single, he's at second. The walk to Roberts, he's at first. Jones has gone 0 for 4 with the bases loaded this year. Orioles are down by 2. Moylan's delivery to him. And a 2-strike count.
Yeah, that sinker not anywhere near 96, but who cares if it sinks? 89 and diving.
Jones coming into the ball game with the second best average in the league with runners in scoring position at 405. And the Orioles hope that holds true right here. With 2 down, these runners will go on contact if he can put one in play. Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way, and he's swinging one away. And Moylan comes on and gets the strikeout, and the Orioles will leave the bases loaded. Second time they have done that in the ball game. The sidearmer from down under.
Braves 2-run home run by Escobar on the slider. Brian Roberts, the Orioles try to come back in the bottom of the first. Steals his 12th base of the year, and then will score on the ground out by Adam Jones. Tommy Hansen, 22 years old. Good blown away fastball to Salazar. Fastball in the middle of the plate. And Jones right here will steal as Chipper Jones will pop up the first pitch.
Melvin Moore in foul territory. 1 pitch and 1 out.
So again, a very closely contested game, as Gary Thorne told you. A couple of bases loaded situations for the Orioles. Escobar with a big home run. McCann, of course, he's an all-star. Got the glasses, 3 singles, then having trouble singling, and Aubrey Huff. Hit that little flare, a couple of walks. Been on base 3 times tonight.
So Hansen gets out of there, surrendering just the 2 runs on 9 hits in 5 2/3. The starter for the Braves. Dave Tremblay is on his way out. Matt Albers gets the out. McCann is due up next. as Albers came on in the 5th inning, and the Orioles will go for the matchup here. The left-hander Castillo coming on, 4-2 Braves. On June 12, the Baseball Hall of Fame opened up in 1939. On the very same day, Lou Gehrig played his final game for the New York Yankees. And of course, Lou would be one of those going to the Hall. Not just the 5 years after. In fact, they shortened the time for Lou Gehrig to get in because of his death with what would become Lou Gehrig's disease on the same day. Here is Castillo, the left-hander, Alberto Castillo, out of the bullpen.
Yeah, with the Orioles last year, and a great opportunity for him this year. Jamie Walker being released, had trouble getting lefties out. So if you're going to be a situational lefty, this is exactly why Dave Tremblay brought him in. Match him up. And you want to hang around, you need to get the lefties out.
McCann 239 off left-handers, 100 points better against right-handers. So there's your matchup.
See, and we talked about the little things, and it's not that Alberto's not trying to command his stuff, but that's got to be your role. I mean, you got to know it. You got to live it.
3-0 counts. McCann taking all the way. It is in there for a strike.
And again, that is if you want to be on a winning ball club. And Alan Dunn, who is the bullpen coach, was talking about the pride, and that's part of it. Hey, I know what my job is. If it's going to be to get lefties out, I better get them out.
And he walked it.
Yeah, and he does it.
So brought in to get a lefty. McCann, who had 3 singles prior to that at bat, stays perfect in his plate appearances. He draws the walk. And with 1 away, Garrett Anderson coming to the plate as the Braves will try and add to their 4-2 lead here in the top half of the 7th inning. Orioles about hit the Braves 9-8, but the score remains 4-2 in favor of Atlanta.
And Garrett Anderson is hitting much higher against lefty this year. I mean, he's hitting .333 against left-handed pitching. It's never really been a problem. Power numbers come down a little bit over the course of his career, and it's been a terrific one.
Castillo with a runner at first base. McCann 0-1 delivery, taken all the way. Going to make him throw strikes here. Something the Orioles staff has done pretty well this season, especially when compared to last year. The ability to get hitters to hit the ball and not walk them. Those numbers dramatically reduced this season. 1-1 delivery, that's outside, 2-1.
Yeah, the problem's been the long ball.
Yep.
Yeah, they've given up 80 of them. And Rick Granitz is going to come out, and a lot of it is, okay, how did we walk the first guy? Well, you started him out with a breaking ball and you missed. And that's why it's so difficult, as Jim Johnson will get up to be a reliever. And I think you have to be a realist. What can I get over? Yeah, okay. Get McCann out with breaking balls. Do I get my breaking ball over? Because if I don't, I'm better off just throwing him a fastball. So you have to know what you can do and what you can't do.
Castillo has the word from the pitching coach. The Orioles bullpen is 10th in ERA coming into this game. They too have not surrendered many walks, 4th best in walks per 9 innings. But in trouble right here with a 2-ball 1-strike count after walking McCann, who's on at first base. Garrett Anderson waiting, takes it. That is in there for a strike, and the count will go to 2-2. The Orioles bullpen numbers a good deal better than those of the Atlanta Braves as far as the rankings, until the last couple of weeks, and the Braves pen is caught up. That one a chopper towards second base. Brian Roberts to short one, relay to first, not in time. McCann is forced out. Anderson on the fielder's choice. And Dino can get rid of that ball in a hurry at second, can he?
Yeah, and so does Brian Roberts. You know, he as a second baseman, shortstops have to protect second baseman. Second baseman's what they want to do, get the ball out of your glove. Look how quick Brian Roberts is, even though he had to do like a 180. And then Andino, strong throw, kind of almost sidearmed it over, avoided the runner.
They work well together, as has Cesar Azturis and Brian Roberts.
Well, the Orioles missed Azturis because he was starting to hit, good average with runners in scoring position, can steal bases, Gold Glove shortstop. And it's not that Robert hadn't done a good job. They didn't get him to play every day. He's just had to do that because of the appendectomy with Cesar Azturis had to have performed.
2 down now with a runner on at first, Garrett Anderson. Canizares has doubled, popped out, and grounded out. The newest member of the Atlanta Braves, and to the bullpen immediately after the throw over. So they were just waiting.
Yeah, they were just waiting for Jimmy Johnson to come up. And Canizares, his hits have been out over the plate. When they've gotten him in, he's broken a couple of bats tonight. So, again, you're very much in this game. You get 9 more outs to work with. Tremblay does not want to have Atlanta get any more runs in this inning.
So Jim Johnson will come on. Alberto Castillo, a third of an inning, responsible for the 1 base runner on. Promotion everyone's talking about will be here. The first 25,000 fans 15 and over at the Mets game are going to get the Adam Jones bobblehead. The robbing the home run, blowing a bubble at the same time. That will be a great collector's item. That's going to be on Wednesday. You can get tickets at 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com. On the mound, Jim Johnson, 27th appearance.
Again, power pitcher, big curveball. What I'd liked in watching over the last couple of weeks is using that changeup because it slows the bat down and he gets it over better than that big curveball. Makes everybody know that he's got another pitch he'll use.
So this is mano against mano right here. As at the plate, Canizares just comes up there wailing away. Runner on at first base, 2 down, and Johnson will attack the zone.
Raking if he can.
He's had a double in the ball game, and those are the kind of cuts that he takes, and it's 1-1.
See, again, if you're Jimmy Johnson, you went over the scouting reports. They did it as a pitching staff today. You know this guy, good hitter. You've watched the game. You've seen that he had a ball out over the plate for a double up to left field. It jammed him a couple of times, but at the end of the day, you're still a sinker ball pitcher. That's your strength. So that's how you're going to try to get him out. And there's another.
Zaris over the top of that one in a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Why would you do anything other than what you do best? There's just no reason to do that. He's that good. His fastball, when it moves, when he gets on top, look at that ball sink. Starts in the strike zone, just bottoms out. 96. And Bobby Cox is sitting over there. Where did they get this guy?
1-2 count, 2 down. Zaris started, stayed away on the breaking ball. That'll even the count up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Making the start at first base in the ball game. Just his second game with the ball club. He got called up just in time. He got to the ballpark 45 minutes before his first game with the Braves. He's not a youngster. He's 29 years old. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Zaris fouls that one off.
Yeah, probably more like a American League type of player. Even though you can be a role player and not have to be a great defensive player even in the National League, but more of a DH type.
Yeah, that's why he's here, interleague play. Otherwise, probably never would have been called up by the Braves.
Well, as you mentioned, Casey Kochman, he's got the leg problem, so that's why he's on the disabled list.
2-2 delivery on the way to him, and he stayed away. Johnson was headed into the dugout. Didn't get the call. 3-2.
Well, he got tried to be as short as Earl Weaver on that pitch right there. Boy, did he get down. It's like doing the limbo. If he doesn't bend his knees and he gets fooled on that curveball, he's gone.
So 3-2, 2 down. That will send the runner, Garrett Anderson, at first base on the fly in the pitch. Johnson, the 3-2 delivery. Zaris has got a base hit up the middle. Making the turn, headed to third is Garrett Anderson. So a 2-for-4 ball game for the first baseman. And the Braves threatening a 2-out RBI situation here in the 7th inning. With Anderson running, he easily went over to third base.
So with all the stuff I said about Jimmy Johnson, he tried to get him out with curveballs, and then once you run the count to 3-2, you can't be as exact with your sinker. Throws it in the middle of the plate, and Barbaro's waiting for it.
Well, here's the man who's been involved in some key plays in the ball game. Jeff Francoeur had an 0-for-3 at the plate. He threw Aubrey Huff out at the plate, though, in what's a big run the Orioles didn't get. And he's had chances with runners on. He came up with a couple on in the 4th, and he struck out. He came up with the bases loaded in the 5th inning and flied to left field.
Actually had a pretty good swing, Gary. I thought that ball had a chance to go out. It was a high slider, and he must have got it on the end of the bat.
Whoa. Puts that one right over the top of the dugout, and a 2-strike count on Jeff Francoeur.
Well, look at that velocity and movement from Jimmy Johnson today. At 97. I mean, here we are on what, the 12th of the month, and he's been off about 5 days.
And Francoeur goes up the middle, and Roberts can't get it, and a run will score. And Jeff Francoeur, just enough to get that into center field, will pick up the RBI as Garrett Anderson will come across with the Atlanta run to make it 5-2.
Well, when a guy hits my fastball over the dugout, he's that late, and I come back with a curveball, and it's in the middle of the plate, you've done him a favor. Nice try by Brian Roberts, but you speed up the bat. Francoeur didn't hit it hard. But again, you try to read the bat. They don't do a very good job on that, and Francoeur takes advantage of it.
27 RBIs for Francoeur and a big run. That's 5 runs on 10 hits for the Braves in the ball game, and that'll bring up Kelly Johnson 0-for-2 and a walk. 2 on, 2 down, and Johnson will take the fastball away for a ball. So the Braves, who have scored 2 or fewer runs in 9 of their last 16 games and had 7 or fewer hits in 10 of those 16, have gotten out of it here in this one. 5 runs on 10 hits. Foul back, good cut by Johnson, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Run will be charged to Castillo. Now the responsibility of the base runners lies with Johnson. One ball, 1-strike count. And Kelly Johnson takes it. It's in there. Fastball. He's behind on the count 1-2. Atlanta's just pecked away in this game. 2 in the first, couple in the 5th, 1 more here in the 7th. They have had base runners on in all but 2 innings. 1-2 delivery on the way to him. Fastball up high. 2-2 to Johnson. These runs, 7th inning on, make it so much more difficult on the offense. It's got to play catch up. It just changes how you have to play the late innings of a ball game. Melvin Moore wants to come over to the mound. Canizar is the lead runner at second base. Francoeur on at first. The Orioles still in this ball game, but cannot afford to give any more up with the trouble they've had scoring, as the Orioles with only 2 up on the board on the 9 hits, and Johnson will wait. Can't get the signs down here, and Wieters will go out.
Well, there is a man on second, but I think if you go back to the last couple of hitters, again, Jimmy Johnson with a incredibly moving velocity laden fastball tonight has got in trouble with his breaking ball. It got him to a 3-2 count. Canizares took advantage of it, and then Francoeur hit a curveball after he was very late on his fastball. So what are we going to throw here? Another sinker, maybe a changeup. I don't know, something up. Didn't have the normal movement. There's that changeup we talked about. And they got him out with changeups when we talk about Kelly Johnson early on. But again, I think we have seen Jim Johnson get away with what he does best this inning, and the Braves have taken advantage of it. Not a lot, but just enough.
2-ball, 2-strike count on Johnson, and the fastball will come back inside, and the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So again, the Braves will have the advantage on the base paths. Canizares at second, Francoeur at first. They'll be running,
and that's huge when you don't have a lot of speed at second base. Maybe not right field because of the short porch here, and maybe not center because Jones throws so well.
3-2 is ripped, but it is a foul ball. Whoa.
It didn't sound good, even though he got some part of the good bat to it.
Garrett Anderson had the advantage, Jim, and that's why he's has scored the run. He was able to run with 2 down from first base and made it to third, which set up the RBI single for Canizares.
Exactly, and again, the difference, they ran that count to 3-2, and he's going on the pitch, and then Canizares singles up the middle. He goes all the way to third. Otherwise, he's stopping at second.
3-2 again, runners going, and again, it's going to be foul back. Crowd here tonight, 28,469 for the first of 3 against the Atlanta Braves for the interleague games.
Well, floppy hat night. I know you got yours.
I did. I got it right here. All ready to go.
Reversible hat.
Reversible hat. Bird logo on one side of it, and the O's logo on the other. 3-2 count. Runners go again. Swung on and a chopper to second. Brian Roberts makes the play and gets the out. About a run in and a couple of hits. The Brave extend it to 5-2. 7th inning stretch time, brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Please drink responsibly. Braves. The Orioles' magic number this season, as far as runs are concerned, has been 4. If they can get them, they get some wins. If they don't, they don't. And of late, they've not been able to get beyond that 3-run mark.
Well, you're right. And, early on, Tommy Hansen, their number 1 prospect, 22 years old, in trouble. They get 1 run. He leaves the bases loaded. They did that twice tonight. Birkin pitches pretty well in the 5th inning. Hadn't walked anybody, walks anybody. Hit another guy. So again, it's one of those games where you have opportunities. Jimmy Johnson comes in. They get that extra run when he gets away from what he does best. So again, they're still in the ball game. Things are going to have to change for them to start winning ball games, whether it's going to be a 3-run home run, something they haven't done lately.
And confidence. The confidence, you can just tell Adam Jones in particular right now at the plate, that confidence you saw before where he knew he could wait on pitches and didn't chase. Suddenly that's disappeared. You're trying to get things done all at once. And as they say, the sawdust coming out of the bat.
Well, it is. You start squeezing the bat, and if you're pitching and you're struggling, the grip gets a little bit tighter. But again, this is a rebuilding year. We have a lot of young players. We have a team that hasn't won in 11 years. They're going to have to learn to win. It's going to be a slow, sometimes painful process, and that's what it's been over the last 11 games. Hopefully it'll change, but as I say all the time, it's up to those guys.
All right, we'll see whether or not the bullpens now, who have taken over, can hold down the offenses here. There's Eric O'Flaherty. He's going to appear in his 32nd game. With the 22 innings, only 19 hits surrendered, only 3 walks, and 14 strikeouts to go with it. So the O's will have to battle back in this one. Nick Markakis leading it off, and O'Flaherty's pitch will be taken for a strike. Moylan came on and worked just a 1/3 of an inning, got a big strikeout on Adam Jones as the Orioles left the bases loaded in the 6th. Markakis 1 for 3. He had a single his first time up. O'Flaherty, the left-hander, out of the stretch to Markakis, who will pop that one up center field. Shortstop back. Escobar wants it, and he's got it. And Markakis is retired, 1 away.
Yeah, Eric O'Flaherty, and we saw him when he was in Seattle. They get him on waivers. Aubrey Huff, you can see, pretty good night. Couple of walks, single, RBI, flared one into left. Looked like he was going to put the Orioles ahead, but Frank Kerr threw him out at the plate. And what did O'Flaherty come in? He came in and threw strike 1 to Nick Markakis. He's had a pretty good year. He inherited runners. Done a great job, and there's a good breaking ball. And again, and the Orioles will be hopefully developing left-handers, but Jamie Walker had the 3-year deal, didn't pitch well against lefties last year, really struggled this year. They were hitting close to 400, so you go out, as the Braves did, you look for people that maybe used to be a starting pitcher who can come in, throw strikes. And a lot of teams have done that, and that's how you try to improve your bullpen.
Aubrey Huff just got a piece of that, fouled it off. They single in the 3rd and an RBI. He has drawn 2 walks, so he's been on every time up. Jeff Bennett in the bullpen. Braves have lost 2 in a row coming into this. So have the O's. So both teams trying to get back on the winning side of things. And Huff down on the count here, 1-2. 1 down, bases empty. Aubrey hitting at .261. And did he go? Home plate umpire says yes. So Flaherty gets the strikeout. Huff is retired, and there are 2 away here in the 7th inning. There you see the Orioles-Braves records from 97 to 99. Orioles held the advantage, scored a lot more runs. 2000, 2006 reversed. It was the Braves, 14-4. That one fouled away by Melvin Mora, and the first time these teams have met since 06, when the Braves took 2 out of 3 in Atlanta.
What I think the Orioles and the Braves 9-9 in Atlanta, and the Braves recently 7-2 up here. Of course, everybody likes to play at Camden Yards, one of the most beautiful ballparks in baseball.
They do. That's a fact.
Brian McCann was saying, "I've never been here before," and he said, "Boy, what a great place to play." Not that Atlanta isn't, but of course the hitters, they look at the dimensions. Frank Corse had 364 to left center field. And of course Atlanta has high fences. You don't have anybody, as we saw the other night with Melvin Mora, hitting anybody reaching over into the field of play.
Fouled away, and a 2-strike count. The Orioles had, prior to the streak they're in right now, taken real advantage of being at home. They're hitting .294 at home, .229 on the road. They've had 39 home runs here, 25 on the road. The ERA of the pitchers is 2 runs less here at Camden Yards than it is on the road. But during this streak they've been in, and they have lost 8 of the last 10, all of the numbers have kind of collapsed on themselves here. So the Orioles hoping during this homestand, and it's a long one, 3 against Atlanta, 3 more against the Mets, they can get it going. Down to third, wicked hop. Martin Prado makes a fine play on it to get Melvin Moore. That one almost took his head off. We've completed 7, a 1-2-3 inning for O'Flaherty. Watch this one bounce up. Hey-ya! Braves lead at 5-2. Designed for boys and girls ages 7 to 16. Each Orioles baseball summer camp has a 4-day instructional program. Player appearances by a current and former Oriole, professional instructors, autograph and photo opportunities, daily lunch, giveaways, and complimentary O's tickets. You can visit Orioles.com, click on Fan Forum. You can register and find out more right there. Mark Hendrickson will come out of the bullpen now. Jim Johnson, a third of an inning, couple of hits. Castillo worked a third of an inning, a walk, and 1 run off him. Now Hendrickson on.
There are the numbers, both as a starter and a reliever. Last pitched against Seattle a couple of days ago. Inning in the third, a hit and a strikeout. So with the NBA Finals winding down, the 6'9" lefty who did play for 4 teams in the NBA. Atlanta knows him. He pitched against them last year. Did not have good numbers in a little over 16 innings. Gave up 11 runs, 24 hits.
Martin Prado, the number 9 hitter, is leading it off, and he takes the ball to left field, way up in the air and way back at the wall. Scott looking, and goodbye, home run. First batter faced by Hendrickson. Martin Prado delivers the homer, his 3rd of the year, his 8th RBI, and it is 6-2.
Well, as you mentioned, both of these teams came in struggling offensively. It had to break for somebody. So Escobar with a 2-run home run in the first, and then here in the 8th inning, high fastball. Ball doesn't look like it's carrying as well as it did early in the year, but this one carries out of here. And they make it 6-2.
His 6th major league home run, 3 this year. Dragging the bunt. Hendrickson will field it, make the flip. And Nate McLouth is retired. A 2-for-5 ball game for him now, and 1 away here in the 8th inning. Most home runs allowed. It has been that way all year for the Orioles. The Yankees, of course, now in Yankee Stadium, which has become a great hitter's park, have given up the most. Orioles, and then Minnesota, Texas, and Cleveland. 2 in this ball game. Escobar had a 2 RBI homer in the first inning. That came off Jason Birkin, the starter, and now this one off Hernandez. Off Hendrickson, rather, in the 8th inning by Prado. Here's Escobar, who delivered the homer. Hitting at .297, 6 home runs, 33 RBIs.
Yeah, Atlanta, they don't. They get the Yankees. They come to them in a couple of weeks, 23rd, 4th, and 5th, and then the Red Sox. So people in Atlanta get to see. But they, on the bench today, Atlanta was talking about Yankee Stadium. And what a hitter's park it's become.
The Braves came in 12th in the National League in home runs hit. Their staff has given up the fewest home runs of any team in the National League. Rafael Soriano in the bullpen. 6 runs on 11 hits in the ballgame. Braves up 6-2, and the pitch will be taken away. Going to turn it over here at the top of the order in the inning with Chipper Jones, and then McCann scheduled up. 3 ball, 1 strike count, and walked him. So Hendrickson surrenders the walk with 1 away. And that'll bring Chipper Jones to the plate. Time to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game. Here are the candidates tonight. McCann, the catcher, whom we're going to see, has had a 3-hit ball game. Aubrey Huff has delivered an RBI base hit, been on a couple of times in the game. And Hansen, the young 22-year-old starter, a couple of runs, 9 hits, 5 2/3. Text in your vote A, B, or C to 51862. Chipper Jones, switch hitter in the ball game tonight, as the designated hitter has drawn a walk, officially 0 for 3.
Yeah, Tommy Hansen, if the Braves prevail, will win his first major league game, and deservedly so, because he battled him.
Got in trouble early, worked his way through it. Pitches way inside, and a 2-0 count on Jones. Orioles have used 5 pitchers in the ball game tonight. Birkin, the starter, 4 runs, 8 hits, 4 1/3. 2-0 delivery to Jones, and he'll foul that one away. 2-1.
Well, we told you, a naturally right-handed hitter, even though coming into this year, of those now 416 home runs, he had hit 322 from the other side of the plate.
He's got the 5th best road batting average in the National League. 2-1 delivery to him, and a chopper. Bad foot, can't run fast. Mora up, and will get the out. Chipper Jones retired. Escobar will go down to second base. There are 2 away.
Yeah, you can see him limping, and again the big toe on the right foot, which is one of the reasons that he is DH in tonight.
He may DH some more by the looks of that foot.
Yeah, probably more comfortable hitting left-handed, because again, what do you do if you hit right-handed? You push off that back foot, which is the toe that he injured.
That will bring McCann to the plate, the Atlanta catcher. 3:26 now, and a big night. 3 singles, RBI, and a walk.
And he also steered a 22-year-old starter in the second start through, navigated all the way into the middle to late innings, and it wasn't easy.
No, that's called working your way through a ball game, isn't it?
And I tell you, if you're an advanced scout and you saw Tommy Hansen tonight, he is not predictable. I mean, he's predictable. He's got a great arm. He's going to throw all his pitches, but you never know. You think 2-0, 2-1. Oh, it's going to be a fastball. Sliders and curveballs and a couple of changeups. Mixed all his pitches in.
McCann with a 1-0 count. 239 off left-handers. McCann will take the pitch. It is down low. Hendrickson falls behind again as the count goes to 2-0. Oriole pitchers have walked 5 in the ball game and have hit 2 batters. One of those hit batters came around to score. 2-0 count. Runner at second is Escobar. And that one will be chopped to right field. That's going to be a base hit. Here comes Escobar. Here comes Markakis. Here's the throw to the plate, and not in time. And down to second base on the throw, McCann. So he continues a perfect night, 4 for 4, his second RBI, and a 7-2 Atlanta lead.
Escobar again with 2 outs. He's running on contact. Watch this throw from Markakis. Perfect. Knee-high strike. Mike Riley. There's the slide. Matt Wieters is not able to get him off the plate, so he catches that outside part of the plate, and there's your 7th run. Big run. They're tack-on runs. Make it easier for the back end of the bullpen. If Bobby Cox, Soriano was up, you can not use anybody, but
Garrett Anderson down the line. Scott going over and gets there and makes the catch in fair territory. But a couple of runs in here in the inning, and Atlanta extends the lead to 7-2. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Yeah, frozen rope that Melvin Moore, even though it's on the ground, hit very hard. Escobar already had hit a 2-run home run. Look at Melvin Moore. Tremendous ability not only to get to the ball, and then he will scurry up and throw a BB across the diamond. Salazar, who's playing first tonight with a nice stretch. There's your Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. There it is. I know you got a card. You want to add anything to that?
I got no card.
Okay.
No card at all. Blanco's going to come on and play in left field, taking over for Garrett Anderson. And on the mound, Rafael Soriano out of the bullpen. Soriano suffered the loss in the ball game yesterday, allowing 2 runs in the 9th inning. He'd had 9 straight scoreless innings prior to that. He'll come on to work the bottom half of the 8th.
Yeah, he doesn't do that very often, and of course he was one of the young stars, had Tommy John surgery early on with Seattle, and then they traded Horacio Ramirez from the Braves, and we saw him try to pitch in the American League. It wasn't very successful, but Soriano's got great stuff when he is healthy. You know, last year he had what they call the transposition, where they take that ulnar nerve and actually move it over, and then the Tommy John a couple of years before. Nasty stuff.
Pitching very well this season. Luke Scott will be up against him. The Orioles really in a hole now, 7-2. 7-12-0 for the Braves, 2-9-0 for the O's. Orioles have not scored since the 3rd inning. They got 1 in the 1st on a Jones ground ball out. They added a run in the 3rd on a single and an RBI by Aubrey Huff. Orioles have stranded 9. The Braves have stranded 10. Luke Scott will stay away from it. Scott a single and a couple of walks in the ball game.
And that's what you really want. It seems like every time you're able to make a comeback, and of course they have 2 closers. Soriano's one of them. Mike Gonzalez the other. Gonzalez the lefty, and Bobby Cox matches up. Base on balls has something to do with it. And there's ball 3.
Did he go? Yes.
Oh.
Eric Cooper down at third base calls it a strike, 2-1.
You're 5 runs down, and Luke Scott's been red hot. Let us see how far he goes. 95-mile-per-hour fastball, and made the right call. You can see Luke trying to hold the bat. He does that about as well as anybody I've seen in recent years. Frank Robinson was the best I ever played with. There's ball 3.
3 ball, 1 strike count on Scott. He'll be followed by Salazar and Wieters, due up in the inning. Right now, as we said, those tack-on runs, as they're called, change the whole flavor of the ball game. Now you've got to get somebody on base, so it's not only trying to pick up a base hit, it's trying to get some runners on here in the 8th and then again in the 9th. 3-1 pitch to him. That one chopped off the plate, literally. Johnson had the ball spin on him, makes the play, and Scott is retired. 1 down. Let's bring you up to date on the voting so far for the AT&T Player of the Game. Right now, Aubrey Huff on top, McCann and Hansen. The other choices, text in your vote A, B, or C to 51862. Results on the O's Extra Postgame Show. Oscar Salazar making the start at first base. With 1 down and nobody on, he has singled, struck out, and flied out in the ball game. Soriano, opposition against him, they haven't been able to reach the Mendoza line batting average wise.
Well, he's got that pitch, and the pitch that I noticed, I mean, not only he throws 93 to 95, and he's got great movement, but it appears to me he's come up with a cutter. So he's in the cut fastball, you don't see any spin. And it's late moving. We always talk about, does the guy have life on his stuff? Well, Soriano does.
Opponent sitting only 184 against him. It is his 28th appearance. O'Flaherty's appeared in 32 games. Moylan in 32. This bullpen has had its share of innings pitched. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. Salazar ground ball to the hole, and he's got a base hit. So Oscar Salazar with a single. He's 2 for 4 in the game, and the Orioles get their 10th hit of the ball game.
Well, you've seen why he had a real good year. You mentioned 372, 10 home runs. He had a real good swing early on. He had a little looper into right for a base hit, but just missed a 3-run home run on a high slider. And right there, even though they're playing off the line, able to hit it hard enough and get it by the third baseman Prado into left field. Well, you need a sustained attack when you're trailing by 5 in the 8th, and you're going to have to do it against the back end of their bullpen.
Matt Wieters, he's had a couple of singles and has been called out on strikes. Matt at 263 now, and that fastball will be taken away. Wieters to be followed by Andino, and then the top of the order. Matt almost got one out of the yard for his first major league home run. Fouled one off, batting left-handed deep down the line, before being called out on strikes in his last at bat. 1-0 delivery to him, and that is inside. 2-0. O'Flaherty worked an inning, had a strikeout. Moylan a third of an inning and a strikeout. Hansen 5 2/3, 2 runs, 9 hits, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. So the Orioles have had 7 go down via the K route tonight. That is also something the Orioles have improved on from last year, cutting down on the number of strikeouts offensively. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Wieters. Salazar held at first. The 2-1 towards the seats, and a souvenir. 2-2. Be right back here tomorrow night for game 2 of the 3-game set. I hope you'll join us in person if you can. Rich Hill, who is 2-1, will be making the start for the Orioles. Kenson Kawakami, who's got a 3-6 record, will be on the mound for the Braves. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Wieters to third. Scooped up, Prado, or tried, and won't get anybody. So the Orioles get an advantage on an error. He wanted to get 2 and instead got none.
Well, you know the Cardinal rule with a 5-run lead. 2-run lead, get the first out. And this inning would be the second out. Catch it, make the throw, which he does. Again, trying to hurry. Just doesn't get a handle on it. There's a knee-high throw. And Matt Wieters, to his credit, nothing's routine. You never know when somebody's going to boggle the ball. And Martin Prado. So again, maybe it's not the base on balls. It's giving the Orioles an extra out. Let's see if they can take advantage of it.
Nolan Reimold will come on and pinch hit for Andino. Andino went 1 for 3, had a single. Reimold as a pinch hitter 0 for 1, but on the season, 271 and 7 home runs and 16 RBIs. As he and Scott have been the home run power for the Orioles. 2 on, 1 out. Soriano, and Reimold will take the slider away for a ball.
Yeah, I saw the graphic last night. In fact, over the last couple of nights, comparing him to Kurt Blefary in the slugging percentage. Of course, I played with Kurt. He was Rookie of the Year back in 1965. He was a pull hitter. Right center field to the foul line.
Came back and got the corner, 1-1.
And it's kind of interesting because Nolan has already shown power straight away, right center field. You know, Kurt wasn't that type of hitter. Kurt's hitting philosophy is very easy. I'm never going to swing at a breaking ball until I get to 2 strikes because I can hit the fastball. And it appears to me that Reimold can do that too.
Well, the Orioles have a shot right now at having another big inning in the 8th. 2 on, 1 down. The error, the first of the ball game, charged to Prado at third base. Dave Tremblay, Dave Jones, the bench coach next to him, looking at the scorecard, seeing what's available. Brian Roberts, top of the order, waiting on deck. 2-1 delivery, and again sticking with that slider. 3-1, missed outside. Good eye by Reimold. Nolan will take the walk here if he can get it. He has struck out 16 times and drawn 7 walks on the season. Soriano, coming off the loss yesterday, being used in back-to-back games and having his problems here in the 8th. Falling behind 3-1. Runners off first and second. And the bases are loaded.
So again, base on balls, the extra out. Now you're back into the heart of the lineup. One of the better leadoff guys at baseball is Roger McDowell. There is Mike Gonzalez. Left-handed power pitcher. Boy, does he got a slider. Roger McDowell, pitching coach, took over for Leo Mazzoni. He'll come out and talk about a guy with a great sinker. When McDowell pitched for the Mets, you were probably doing the games, weren't you?
I was.
Could he sink the ball with the best of them or what?
Yes, he could. Missed a ground ball. All right, now trying to draw some time for the bullpen. Soriano doesn't look like one of the more confident pitchers you'll ever see at the moment out there. He was walking around disgusted, kicking at the pitching slab after the walk to Reimold. And Brian Roberts is coming up with the bases loaded. Bottom of the 8th, 1 down. The Orioles trailing 7-2. Brian's 1 for 4 with the sacks full on the season. Base runners at third. Salazar a single. Wieters reached on an error. Reimold got a walk. And Roberts will take the pitch, and it's going to miss. Ball 1.
It is sometimes difficult to pitch when you have great stuff because the ball does not go straight. I mean, there's a sinker. Balls are cutting. Looks like they're sliders, and maybe they're cut fastballs at 95, 96. So this is a power pitcher that's not commanding his stuff here in the 8th inning.
Roberts takes it. That is in there for a strike. 1-1. Roberts a double, a run scored. 1 for 3 and a walk in the ball game. He has been a hot bat of late as he's picked up 6 hits in his last 15 at bats, hitting .287. 1-1 delivery. Roberts pops it up behind the mound. Third baseman over. Prado's got it. 2 down. Jones coming up.
Take a look at the at-bats. Brian Roberts double, steals third. So he hits a ground ball. Next time up, he will single to left field. Again, the Exmo look at where the bat head is. See right there? Location, how important. He had to reach for it. And then they bring in Paul Moylan, and all of a sudden, that big sidearm slurve. You can see Adam Jones out in front of it.
So Adam Jones, for the second time in this game, will come up with the bases loaded. That strikeout you saw came in the 6th inning and ended the inning, and the Orioles left the sacks full. So he gets another chance here, this time against the right-hander. 2 down. Soriano's delivery. Slider swung on and missed. The combination the teams have used against Jones over the last 2 weeks is the hard sinker down and in, and the slider outside.
So if you go to your pitcher meetings, what do they say? high and tight or low and in, low and away.
Low and away.
And that's what they've been able to do. And that's really my point about when you get into the period of the season, and the Orioles have done that, where you face good pitching, they're able to execute their pitchers a little bit better than some of the other teams. And the Orioles haven't been able to take advantage of it. It's not that you can't get hits, it's just more difficult to do it.
2-strike count. Soriano gets ahead. Bases loaded, 2 down, the 0-2 delivery, and fouled that one back.
And when we talked about Brian McCann, he's an all-star catcher. He's 4 for 4 tonight. He got Tommy Hansen navigated through the game, but even in this inning, Soriano struggling, came back with a slider with the bases loaded to Brian Roberts, and then all of a sudden, that was a pitch he could get over, jam Brian Roberts. That doesn't happen very often, and now it looks to me he recognizes that Soriano's best pitch is that slider.
0-2 delivery on the way. It'll stay at 2 strikes. A real battle right here as Jones has got to protect the plate as the Orioles get a shot in the 8th. Behind on the count early, 0-2.
If you're going to catch for the Braves, you better know how to call pitches.
McCann's pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Here's the 0-2 delivery again. Ground ball to the hole. Knocked down. Prado gets up and gets the force out. So he redeems himself after having committed the early error. Prado makes the play. The Orioles will leave the bases loaded for the 3rd time in the game and trail 7-2. Honda. You can depend on your Honda dealer for great leases and low financing. So the Orioles making some changes. Reimold stays in. He will play in left field in the ball game. Luke Scott goes from left over to first base. And Salazar is at shortstop for Andino. And we go to the 9th inning. And the Orioles unable to find the big hit in the game. This has been a ball game where there have been plenty of people roaming around the base paths. 7 runs, 12 hits for the Braves, 2 runs, 10 hits for the Orioles, 12 left stranded by the O's and 10 by the Braves. Hendrickson's pitch is swung on. Canizares is trying to find one to tag, and that one floated away. He's had a good ball game, a double and a single, 2 for 4. Hendrickson came on, gave up the home run to Prado, an RBI single by McCann, 2 runs charged to him so far. Got one to drill center field. Jones, who had started in, backs up, reaches up, and makes the catch.
Now you play shallow, you better get a good jump, and he certainly does, and then runs it down. There you go. He knows right here. A little sense of urgency in that stride, wouldn't you say?
That traveled a little further than he thought it was going to.
Well, it seems like early when our papers are blowing around, the wind was actually blowing in, and now it's swirling a little bit even up here.
Ground ball, Francoeur to short. Salazar the play. Francoeur is retired. A single and 5 at bats for him. 2 down, 9th inning.
Yeah, but that one single added an insurance run, made it 5-2. We're back in the 7th inning. But Jimmy Johnson, ground ball up the middle.
2 down, bases empty. Kelly Johnson has drawn a walk and is 0 for 3 otherwise in the ball game. He's first ball hitting. Apparently the dinner reservations are coming due. At second base, Roberts, and he's got it. A 1-2-3 inning in the 9th. The Orioles will bat bottom of the 9th, trailing in the ball game 7-2.
Bat down by 5. A lot of opportunity in the upper half of that lineup tonight. They just can't seem to get the big hit at the right time. Spotty hitting all the way through the lineup, but not that big hit that can really break it open for the Orioles.
Not only have the Orioles left 12 on base, they've left the bases loaded 3 times in this game. Back to the booth at Gary and Jim.
Jim, Rick, thanks very much. There's your line as we go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. And again, it will be about opportunities missed, as you said. Mike Gonzalez will come on, one of the 2 closers we mentioned earlier. Gonzalez not in a save situation here, but will try and finish this ball game up, the left-hander.
Yeah, they acquired him. Adam LaRoche going over from the Braves to the Pirates. And, of course, he had already been a closer back in 2006. So as you mentioned, he's a very unusual windup. I watched him the other night against Pittsburgh. And again, real good stuff. Hard slider, big swerver. And again, it's hard to believe when a guy has this kind of arm that he was a 30-round pick back in 1997, but he was.
So the bottom half of the 9th inning. Nick Markakis will lead it off. 1 for 4 for Markakis, and he'll foul the first pitch away. Gonzalez, another one of these left-handers that works almost off the mound on the third base side. He is about as far over on the pitching slab as you can get. Got to stay in contact with it, and he just barely does that as he's.
Well, look at this.
Look on the side of the hill. He's actually pitching from the side of it.
And this is almost like Paul Berg.
Then it goes off his glove, and Markakis has an infield hit.
And Nick says thank you very much. Because if he doesn't deflect it, Escobar is going to throw him out. So here you go. I mean, it's about deception with Markakis, and there's that deflection. He dives for it. You got to really, I know it's a reflex position because you end up 50-some feet from the plate, but you have to know where your infielders are playing. Kevin Millwood the other day just barehanded one and actually kept on pitching, but the ball's not hit that hard. Let your infielders. That's what they get paid for.
Aubrey Huff will stand in as the Orioles get their 11th hit of the ball game. Huff has had one of them, an RBI single that came in the 3rd, a couple of walks, and has struck out. And Huff will take it. He's hitting against the left-handers on the season, just 198 coming into the ball game. Bobby Cox has kept the lefty-righty thing going in this game as much as possible.
Well, that's how he decides who's going to close the game.
That one down to third base. Prado's got it. There's 1 and there's 2.
Again, it's about a matchup. So if you have a lot of right-handed hitters coming up in the ninth, that's when Soriano will come in and act as the closer. If you match up very against lefties. So Bobby, even though it's not a safe situation, he had the right-handers coming up. Soriano struggled a little bit, but got out of a bases-loaded situation by getting Adam Jones, a right-handed hitter, out. And now with the lefties coming up, with at least the first two lefties, you bring in Gonzalez.
So it looks like Hansen's going to get his first major league win, the 22-year-old starter for the Atlanta Braves. The loss will go to Jason Birkin, who will be 1-3 and his third consecutive loss. The Orioles will suffer their third loss in a row in this first of three against the Atlanta Braves, barring a big comeback here in the bottom of the ninth.
See, now 4 little rocks right there.
That one's going to be to left field, and that'll fall in for a base hit with Blanco paying way back.
Yeah.
Moore's got a single.
He was playing another zip code.
First hit for Melvin, 1 for 5. He wasn't just protecting against doubles, he was protecting against anyone leaving the ballpark.
Yeah, he was protecting against the 5-run home run. Again, Melvin's had a good night. It hasn't always paid off in base hits, but hit the ball 3 times well.
So they've matched the Braves in hits, 12 for each. That is one ugly scoreboard in crooked numbers. Luke Scott will foul it back. Scott a single, 2 walks, and he is grounded out. 7-12-1 for the Braves, 2-12-0 for the Orioles.
But the interesting thing about the 12-12 is if they out-hit the opponents, they're 19-5.
Well, one more hit then, and they're going to score.
Well, then it'll go to 19-6.
Oh, okay.
Have a big inning.
Just checking.
Yes.
Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way to Scott. Fouls it away.
You don't have to be a math major to figure that one out, don't you?
No. Been a tough night. The frustration continues for the Orioles. No matter what seems to happen, it doesn't add up to runs. That's the trouble. Yeah. They hit the ball hard, they get home runs. Raimel Scott doesn't add up to a win, doesn't add up to enough runs. And if the Orioles do not get another here, it's going to be another of those nights where they have 3 or fewer runs. It'll be the 11th time in the last 12 games. All the way to the backstop, and the rebound off the brick takes it out into fair territory. Wild pitch. What do you think?
Yeah. Maybe not in the NBA, but tonight it's definitely going to be. Watch this. There you go. The high heater. I mean, a real high heater. High gas, whatever you want to call it. High net.
Bad pitch.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but how all the people in the stands ducked. I'm going to trust that netting. How often does that happen? Got about 15 people behind home plate just dive behind their seats.
1-2 delivery, fouled away, and then you got a hit against him. And it remains a 1-ball 2-strike count. Mora went down to second on the wild pitch.
That's better than high definition. Mike Gonzalez.
Everybody jump.
Watch these people back here. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. What were they ducking for? There's a net there.
1-2 delivery he went, and this one is in the books. And the Braves come away with a victory, a 7-2 win that they just kept building on here in